Good evening, family, good afternoon, or good morning, or whatever time it is wherever you are in the world. And welcome to a brand new live stream on the Lore by Night YouTube channel. Oh yes, we're back here again, and I should really turn my phone noises off. So, if you're new in town or just new to this whole actual play thing, you're tuned in to Lore by Night's live stream of Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York, and I cannot express to you how excited I am to finally have my hands on this game. Thank you ever so much, Draws Distance, for not giving me a review copy, simply because I wanted to support you and buy the game myself, without being obliged to be overly positive with it, for which I am not yet, because I haven't played it. But I am so excited for this. For anybody who's coming onto this having no idea what it is, but recognise some of the layouts a little bit, Shadows of New York is seen as I don't want to say DLC because it's its own separate entity, but it's like a follow-on story to what happens to Coteries of New York, from what I have gathered at least. It has some of the same characters, it's basically what happens afterwards, but through the perspective of a different character. Hello Helton, thank you ever so much for dropping by. Wix Button, yes, a stream. Just how are we all doing? We are doing well, and I'm ecstatic to finally playing a Lasombra, a very attractive Lasombra at that too. Well, that's my personal opinion. I've seen two different takes on Julia, the name of the Lasombra. It is either ew, too gothy, or B, step on me, and I know which camp I am in. Milkless! Hello! You on a work break? I know you have an awesome time. I sure hope so. I suppose before we get stuck in, I'm going to hazard a guess that volume levels, everything's okay. That is the music too loud? Am I too quiet? Just give me a little moment, to adjust audios and things before we, what was I saying? Get started. So, had a crappy day working at the hospital. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope that this brings your morale up somehow. If not, well, I tried. Okay, so I suppose I should give a little spiel for anybody who's watching this who doesn't know the latest incarnation of vampire lore. Clan Lasombra joined the Camarilla, their arch nemesis for hundreds and hundreds of years, and I say that they joined the Camarilla, they're kind of seeing, because the fact they've been enemies to the Camarilla for the longest time, they are in the Camarilla, but they're not. They're on very thin ice, and I believe that Shadows of New York is going to focus on that element a lot. I'll just give it a couple more minutes, maybe less than so, to see, get a few more people flocking in. David Berkwitz, hello. Let's see, sounds good, but we need more Wiz and Cat. Well, my one remaining cat's in the garden, working on her beach body, but we do have a snoring cavalier, a dependent sect of Camarilla in a way. Yeah, good assessment. Snoring Cavalier. What am I hoping out of this game? Ooh, that's a good question. I want same improved writing, which isn't to say that Coteries of New York doesn't have good writing. It has very good writing. I just hope this goes beyond that, because obviously we want more to expand and develop. Given the fact that we are playing of a Lasombra, I would like to see how Julia, how she feels about wielding the Abyss. Or sorry, I should call it Oblivion because it's the V5 term, 5th edition. I've been focusing on older editions recently for a game that I'm working on. I also wanted to say that the music is improved as well, but just listening to the title music, I'm just kind of blown away with how different it is. It's dark, it's creepy, but it's got that same sort of modern, edgy, goth sound that I think I would have listened to when I was younger. Like Spartan, I like countries but just didn't fit so we funny, so I have no idea what the story is so far. I have no idea what the rest of that comment says because it's kind of cut off on my screen, so hopefully I should be able to boot up my phone and enjoy the art. Oh, shut up phone. Okay, what does that say? And I love the vibe and right, but the gameplay is not my thing. Fair enough, I would admit, because oh, that's something else. Like Coteries of New York, this is a visual novel, which is essentially an interactive book. I think we've got quite enough of a crowd here. Let me just set things up here, just so I can read your comments properly. And that has done... Sod all. Why have you gone on to that? Sorry, I'm trying to... Because of my potato setup here. I'm having to do different things. Go away. Okay, I'll just have it as porch rangers. Strain my neck. Books are for nerds. Well, you shouldn't be playing Vampire then. They're amazing. Okay, that's enough chit-chat. Let's get started. Yes, I love the art for this as well. It's just, ooh, delicious. Of course, there's no character creation. We don't assign a name because we are just playing Julia. And I love that cross she's wearing. I wonder if there's going to be some religious themes as well. Okay, so the layout looks pretty identical so far. That is huge text. I wanted it... That is massive. Okay, creepy ambience. Okay. Welcome to my castle. Don't expect everyday logic to work here. It went out of the window sometime after midnight, maybe earlier. I'm just going to make that smaller again. Yeah, that seems about right. Visit your computer to make it work. I'll do my best. My kingdom is not of this world, you see. It lies far outside of concrete, tangible reality. Is this her sire speaking? I've tried to identify the way people reach it, and I'm convinced it has something to do with the moon. Some say the moon's aura can turn them insane. You've heard the phrases moonstruck and lunatic. The way I see it, moonlight gives them something subliminal permission to reveal their true selves. I'm just going to turn the music down just a smidgen, because I'm having to shout over it, and I'm not liking that very much. It's very creepy. It certainly has a very different vibe already to Coteries of New York. Yeah, some weird Malkavian shit going on with our Lasombra. And so, whenever they let their silver radiance guide them to the gates of this place, they feel different. Once they pass the doorstep, they're ready to act out. A dance of horrors and marvels begin. Ooh. Ooh. It's 3:31 AM. Welcome to Big Beat Burger. I love the use of triple alliteration. Oh, I love it. Malsombra. That is horrifying. If you're here at this hour, you're not exactly ready up to be a productive member of society come tomorrow morning. More likely, you're praying that the sunrise never comes. Insatiable children of the night gather round, hoping to bask in the afterglow of tonight's victories, unwind after a frustrating series of failures, or simply fight to keep themselves together. I fucking love that whole sentence. Oh, just, I'm getting excited in all sorts of places. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here greedily reveling in every interaction they have. They have no idea they are only here for my amusement. To them, I'm just a random girl, sitting in the corner. But this is my domain. I've been coming here almost every night for years. I know where to sit, where to look, and where to eavesdrop for maximum amusement. I'm basically a voyeur, and unashamed to admit it. It gave me insight about the human condition I'd never otherwise have gathered, and more importantly, a necessary skill set to make ends meet as a journalist. Ah, okay, that's cool. As I write on my crappy old laptop, patiently waiting for the legion of negative voices in my head to get too tired to offer useless feedback, I keep my senses peeled to pick up stories around me. Of course, a lot of regular events such as food fights are nothing to write home about, aside from my unfortunate tendency to become collateral damage in someone else's battles. Up to this day, I had to wash my clothes because of Coke, Diet Coke, hot coffee, apple pie, and some sort of improvised honey mustard bomb. Every stain tells a different story. Mm-hmm. True dat. Sometimes this hobby is exhausting. Sometimes it's disturbing. Sometimes it's dangerous. Although not as risky as back when I wasn't carrying pepper spray. Still, the sights I've taken in over the years have made it absolutely worth it. I've got so many stories I don't know where to begin. Theatrical breakups, impromptu morning parties, unexpected friendships forged in the fires of senseless battle. I just love this writing already. We're not even into vampire stuff. I think this is like the before story. Pre-embrace, as it were. Ooh. A lady in a gorgeous Givenchy dress, I don't know if I pronounced that properly, probably haven't, ordering a box of takeout chicken nuggets, paying in cash with her hands completely covered in blood. She was asked if she wants a napkin. She said no. Ooh, that's quite spooky. The Lasombra is quite good at describing things so articulately. Well, if she's a journalist, like, the English language is her forte. Two thirsty macho dudes shamelessly going for it in the corner, hushed moaning filling the lobby while everyone around valiantly fights to act as usual and maintain an illusion of normalcy. A straight-up kung fu fight between a diminutive cashier and some drugged-up bodybuilder going through a psychotic episode, trying to break all the windows. Hello, Dwarzle, thank you very much. Quick question, is there any novels which you can... the rest of your question has disappeared on my screen. Where's it gone? My phone's my phone. Quick question, is there any novels which you, or anyone in the chat, would recommend to get me started in the world of darkness? A good question. Well, I'd personally recommend the Lord by Night podcast, which is a good primer to everything and everything Vampire the Masquerade related. I'll let the rest of you recommend your books. The big guy left the joint fully convinced he'd KO'd himself, while the service worker was just standing next to him. Seemed proud of his victory, too. A middle-aged hag getting a heart attack after screaming her lungs out not to let Muslims near her food, just because she saw White go away in a hairnet behind the counter. I'm very glad that they're not shying away from sensitive topics. They being the writers of this game. Good, that's what we like to see. A masked couple robbing the restaurant of 30 hamburgers, forcing the employees to cook. Thank you, Holly. To cook at a gunpoint. Police later said those were art students reenacting some hipster book they read. This is life. This is humanity at its worst and best. This is the noise that serves at the foundation of my creativity. This is the soma that keeps me going. This is... Oh! That's very different. If Nick Cave was a woman, that's what he would look like. Ooh. That's very different to the other art that I've seen. Ooh, I like that very much. As pathetic as it may sound, these days, this is the only place where I feel alive. Sometimes I think of myself as a leech, feeding on these people's stories, emotions and personalities just because I'm not satisfied with mine. At times I think of my psyche as some kind of shitty post-mortem construct that is fundamentally incapable of honesty, but only yearns for something felt and truthful. Oh, that is... Sorry, I'm going to keep freaking swooning over the writing. It's just... 14 minutes into the stream and I'm making a mess everywhere. Does that even make any sense? I look at the screen of my laptop. 3:47 AM. At this point, it's almost somnambolic, but nothing interesting has happened yet. I feel like all the customers are watching each other tonight, hoping for others to provide a fun diversion. This is my turf, you parasitic douchebags. Next time, Go find your own. Yeah, that's kind of aggressive, but given as how posh I sound, it really does not come across as it should. I say, begone you, peasant. Think it's time to call it a night. The coffee I always order so that they don't kick me out is undrinkable. Ugh. I reread the rough draft I've been working on for the last 6 hours. God damn, this is pure trash. I hold the backspace button until the Google Documents page is nothing but a calm white slate and let out a sigh of deep relief. A sound of deep relief. There's no pleasure more intoxicating for a frustrated writer than ragging on someone even worse than them. And what target is easier than the dumb bitch you used to be 10 minutes ago? How very Lasombra the character, yes. Very magister. I check the time again. I need to go. I have an important meeting tomorrow at 10 AM, and I have lunch and it's not going to end well. And it's not because I'm a irresponsible dumbass who's going to need a few cups of coffee to simply function on a basic level, despite, like, 4 hours of sleep. Hey, I had 4 hours of sleep last night. Imagine Laurie tries to do a Cockney accent for more Sharks dialogue. Don't... It's because I always have a hunch things are not going the way they're supposed to. Click, clack, click, click, click. The loud clatter of keyboard assaults me from all sides, makes this splatter headache unbearable. But law works too. No, you said Laurie. It's fine. Oh, Lord by Night. I've seen that. Lord by Night. I could go with that. That's it. That's the rebranding. Used to be. I dreamed of nothing else being a part of the New York Lodestar editorial team. It was the first magazine I started reading regularly. The first magazine I ever bought for myself. Now simply hearing the word Lodestar is enough to ruin my mood, never mind seeing all these old farts phoning in more reactionary opinion columns and Wikipedia-level analysis of current events. Just watching the people walking past outside and the heads bobbing around, it's a lot smoother, the animations. Actually, come to think of it, there's people moving in this, because in coteries of New York, there'll be like swabs, like crowds, like in a bar or clubs, like in the, they have like a general dancing about animation. But it's nice that they've taken the time to do individual people. And I've just remembered I have a delivery later today, so if my dogs start barking like fucking mad, you'll know why. Well, chats of VOD later. Alright, thanks, Wick Spartan. Nice to see you. Click, clack, click, click, clack. They used to destroy and rebuild my entire worldview every month. They shaped my thinking about politics, art, journalism. They even pointed me towards my favourite cigarette brand, for God's sake. The Beckett of the sewer rats. That means a lot. Thank you. Although the narrator would be quite offended by that, because he doesn't like Beckett very much, but as the guy who created him, I am flattered, Mr. MacDonald. Then some talented people started leaving for greener pastures. Some got too wrapped up in their own neurises. Some became complacent. All of them committed the sin of allowing themselves to grow older. Fresh blood was deemed unnecessary, even though young freelancers kept being bled dry. These days, whenever someone from outside Lodestar talks about Lodestar, it's because of a few idealistic contributors willing to accept meagre pay while putting in serious work. Dumbasses. Other than that, the magazine specializes in publishing pale echoes of provocative ideas I had somewhere else a few years prior, wrapped up in an aesthetic that hasn't been cutting edge for a decade. No wonder the readership is in free fall, but even though the ship is sinking, the old guard won't let it go down without a fight. As in, if anyone from outside attempts to board the vessel in hopes of fixating its course or its holes, they'll be swiftly taken care of. I should know. Been there, done that. As it stands, the only full-time staff member who doesn't make me regularly attempt to cringe my face off with his writing... Brian. I love how they acted a sound effect for him coughing. Brian! Is he going to be the chunk of this game? Instead of like with a horrible lisp. Oh, we've got creepy music now. Ooh. Stay hydrated, folks. Is Lodestar's editor-in-chief, Brian Ng, the man sitting in the front of me right now. Of course, he only has time for editorial these days. A drop in the sea of needs. Something duties hit him hard. Sandra won't sit on because I have at work, so it's nice to be here for a bit. Water. I actually have an allergy for tea, which isn't very British of me to say. Thanks for dropping by, Cassandra. It's much appreciated. It's the second time he's let out a theatrical cough like this. He said his piece, now it's up for me to react, and I'm coming up blank. But what do you want me to say? Brian? I'm pissed off. I can tell you've already made up your mind, but you still want to go through the motions, just to make me feel listened to. Whatever, let's do this. Okay, chat, this is where you come in. If you remember my Coteries of New York play, the chat decided practically everything for me, and we're going to do exactly the same here. You're going to choose which options we're going to do. If we survive, we survive. If we die, we die. And I don't think we die so early on. So, which one, folks? The top one, Brian, the guy is guilty of major fraud. The man is a sexual harasser, Brian. You're protecting a complete piece of shit here. And the first option I will see is the one that I'm choosing. So, again, 1, 2, or 3. Go. The top it is. Brian, the guy is guilty of major fraud. Brian, my answer was in something like that. Laughing out the rich and hoping they don't hit back. I think double spirals investors would appreciate being told they're being scammed. Oh, I love the lighting. They're going for that whole same character models, but there's different lighting in each scenario. That's if, and if that's a big if, they're not a conscious part of the scam. Oh, come on. And even if they weren't, I doubt they'd be generous enough to protect us from the fallout. You're avoiding the core of the issue. No, I believe I've pinpointed it in a precise way. If it were up to me, I'd greenlight the article here and now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But you're killing the article just because some rich shithead told you he doesn't like it. Get real. This is not about some millionaire jerk calling to make me an offer I can't refuse. What is this about then? Because it looks awfully like it's about my bosses telling me this outlet can't afford the legal action we are already being threatened with. So, millionaire interference. Oh, for crying out loud, Julia, don't make me treat you like a child. You know how this works. I publish a story, it's Phil versus Gorka all over again. A lawsuit here, a lawsuit there, until we bled dry. I have a mortgage and I have 3 mouths waiting to be fed at home, and I have an amazing team that doesn't deserve to be torn apart over some... Don't you think it's telling you mentioned your mortgage first? I was just thinking that. I like Julia, she's got sass and backbone. Silence. Just asking questions. I know better than to get into these empty semantic arguments with you, Miss Sowinski? I think that's how that's pronounced. Sowinski. I'm just going to turn that music down a bit more. Every time it's the music. I don't usually turn music down, just turn it down a smidgen. Miss Sowinski. You're good at them, the problem is you're not good enough. Meaning? You're too in love with weaving a good story and establishing a seductive narrative, let facts get in the way. Or to be fair, the way she has been describing everything has been very seductive so far, so he's not really wrong in that respect. You've got enough boring suits with no principles boards these days. They always give you facts because that's all they can do. I'm using facts as a way to approach some kind of truth. Except facts can blindside you, and Double Spiral has enough facts to water down your story to the point where it makes no sense to publish it. Their HR and PR are working overtime to deliver a convincing counter-narrative, and they're doing a great job. Won't mitigate the damage completely, but will put every little thing in question. Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and downright satanic fuckhead. I like Julia. Wow. I'm wondering if the narrator Malcolm Ashburn would also be allergic to tea. Being British, I would assume that would be connected by true faith, possibly. Imagine that, repulsed by tea in such a fashion. Ugh. Earl Grey. Julia. Let me say it again. Oh, go for it, Julia. Jesse Montgomery is a fascist, a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. Do you personally believe it or not? This is not. You've listened to the tapes, you've read the transcripts, you've seen the documents, you've got the files. I'm asking for your personal opinion. Do you believe it or not? Click, clack, click, clack, click. Of course I do, but that's besides the point. It's not. Look about how I say it out loud and save us both some time. We're not having this conversation because there's an actual conversation to be had. You set up this meeting knowing very damn well there's only one way it's going to end. Could you mix tea with blood? I'm not sure. I'd imagine if it was more blood than tea. I mean, in V5 law, you can get drunk on somebody who's drunk, like, if they've had one drink too many, and you drink blood from them, you can get drunk that way. So I suppose in that principle, you could, if somebody had a lot of tea to drink, I suppose that's a possibility. Anyway, you've got a mortgage and 3 mouths to feed. You prioritise the well-being of your direct surroundings over some nebulous concept of greater good. I get it. I really do. Yet for some reason it seems like you're only prolonging this conversation and rationalising your decision so that I forgive you? Officially exonerate you? I'm not the bad guy here, Julia. Alright, chat. 1, 2 or 3. I know which one I want to say. But I want to see what you guys pick. Because there's basically 3 approaches here. It's like blunt, somewhere in the middle, and questioning. 3. Alright, so what are you? What are you then? In your own words. Oh, I've just seen that 1 and 2 was first, but I was looking at my TV screen and 3 was the first one that I saw, so apologies for that. A man who does what is necessary to protect his own. So I don't count as your own anymore. He mutters something under his breath, ending with a self-pitying chuckle. I don't know if you'd want to work under a scumbag like me from now on. Oh, come on, don't turn this into a pity party. No, I'm absolutely a scumbag. And why is that? Because I'm firing you. Ooh! The music just stops. Great timing. My thoughts are scrambled. For a brief moment the state of my bank account displays before my eyes with startling clarity. A howling void opens in my chest and starts travelling towards my stomach. No, don't panic yet, you idiot. Get more information. Now. There must be a catch. Okay, 1, 2 or 3, and I'm going to pay more attention to my TV screen now. Rather than just chatting pure dog shite. Three. Is this final? I'm glad it's giving you a bit of a morale boost, Maureen. That's made my day, actually. Is this final? They told me there will be consequences if their outlet ever picks up your work again. I shouldn't even be bothering you there. I'm going to do that bit again because I cocked that up badly. They told me there will be consequences if the outlet ever picks up your work again. I shouldn't even be telling you that. I did everything in my power to change their mind. I'm sorry. They? What they? Who is this they? He glances left and right, and then points upward for a short moment. When he speaks again, it's in a hushed voice. You know, the big kahunas. Can't really question them. They wanted your head on a silver plate. He's not looking me in the eye. You're not joking. I would never joke about stuff like this. It's real. Fucking hell, it's real. Damn it, 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 damn! Damn it all to hell! All these years, all this grind, all my plans, and for what fucking asshole you know I deserve better and always deserved better, and it always ends with me going down the drain back to the sewers. Fuck! No. Taking a few deep breaths. Don't lose the plot now. Keep yourself together, you idiot. The moment you show weakness, they go for your throat. Get back in control. That is a very Lasombra thing to say, and I love it. Because unlike the Ventrue, who are like the same side of the different coin, I don't think the Ventrue would act on such passion. There's a far more corporate sense for it. It's okay, all of us, we're all used to the sewers. Yep. You can't do this. I wish I didn't have to, but it's a lost cause. No, I mean, it's impossible. Julia, you can't fire someone who's never been hired in the first place. It takes him a few seconds to put on his "oh, I get it" face, let out a troubled gasp and start massaging his temples. Well, passion might have been the wrong word, but there's in my mind at least, how I imagine the Lasombra compared to the Ventrue. I don't know, there just seems to be a bit more substance with the Ventrue. Lodestar has been my biggest source for income for the past few years, that much is true, but technically, nobody has ever hired me here. It was all freelance jobs. A full-time position only served as a kind of a dangling carrot, a promise of a decent pay grade, career perspectives, maybe even some kind of insurance to save my failing health. And the recognition I would get for being a part of the Lodestar team, a position that everyone around me seems to respect, aside from me. Then why did I want to do it so much? There'll be a time to mourn what could have been. For now, I should act like I don't care. A single-minded determination is right, either, but me, who fits a bit more. Yeah, I agree. You know what I mean. If I let you work, even under a fake name, it would be a guillotine for me. This is ridiculous. You know I'm going to start shopping this story around the second I leave this room, don't you? Of course I know. I told him. Any response? Let us worry about that. Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all. Click-clack, click-click-clack, click-clack-click, rather. I do wonder if I could get accustomed to one of these loud mechanical keyboards some people here love to use. Whenever I did my work here, I was still expected to bring my own crappy laptop and sit closer to the lobby. Always on the outside, no matter how hard I could try to break in. A vibration in my back pocket. Feels like a bad omen. I decided to ignore it for now. I've been working on this fucking story for, I don't know, 16 months on and off. I know. You kept cheering me on. I know. We even agreed on the pay. We have even agreed on the pay I'd receive. I know. I'm 2 months behind my rent. No, wait. 2.5. I catch him off guard. He is momentarily taken back and then gives me an empathetic stare. Don't you look at me this way. You don't have the right. I didn't know. Well, now you do. Look, if there's anything I can do to help. You can't tell your big kahunas to fuck off. I don't think there's a single thing. Julia. I pull out a smoke and light it up. Gotta get back into control. Please don't do that. There's a smoke detector here. Oh, nice little change of animation. Well, animation's the wrong word. Portrait, that's the right word. No worries. Nick turned it off a few weeks ago. Probably the most creative thing he's done in the past 5 years. Good old Nick, the perfect 21st century cinema reviewer. Never has an original thought of his own, just relies on his purely algorithmic taste to stay likeable. And the best thing is, it works. That sounds like an awful lot of critiques I have found on the internet, as I'm sure you all have as well. Stay hydrated. Funny, I used to dream about his job. It was Brian who killed this dream, making me realise Nick won't be unseated anytime soon, and offered to teach me the ways of investigative journalist instead. Wasn't the career I ever wanted to pursue, but to my dismay I turned out to be surprisingly good at it, until this Montgomery thing happened. Serves me right. Lesson learned, I should have pursued my dreams instead. It's not a style you see often, no it's not. Yeah, artwork and visual novels, it's far more stylized in the sense that it's very clean and crisp, usually. This to me actually feels like vampire art, especially some of the more recent stuff. The V5 stuff done by Amy Wilkins. She has an Instagram account, Amy Wilkins Art, I believe it is, under one word, and she has a ArtStation site. Go and check some of that stuff out because, mwah. I mean, Emma agrees, she's patting me on my leg. Emma being my cavapoo. Stop it. Nicholas is a good friend, a respected critic, a member of my team. And put out that smoke. People tell me I let you step all over me. And why do I even let you act this way? Because you once told me honesty is more important. I'll try that again with the dog's not snoring over the top. Because you once told me honesty is most important in a mentor-student relationship, and that it works both ways, and because I thought we were friends. He bites his lip and stares sideways to avoid my eyes. At the end of the day, bosses aren't friends. You must have a terrible mentor if I didn't teach you that. Alright, 1, 2, or 3. Puppy snort. Emma, Holly, don't punch Emma. Sorry. The dog's on the sofa with me and they both stretch and they keep punching each other in the face. It's not nice. Alright, sorry about that. Alright, chat, which option? 1, okay. Could have been better. Yeah, could have been a bit better. Huh. Hey. There's too much shared history between us, so I'm reluctant to make his parting of ways too bitter. I might have failed as a guide, but I will do what I can not to leave you stranded, okay? There are options. None of them are a remedy for all your troubles, but bless you, Emma. Ugh, wait a second. Another vibration in my pocket. Another foreboding feeling. This time I reluctantly take the smartphone out of my pocket. If it has to rain, why not let it pour? A new email. It's a lengthy one. And the sender? Speak of the devil. No, no, no. This can't be. Christ. Oh. I just got an email from Mila Lopez. She claims she's been laid off from Double Spiral. Same as Mike Antonoff and Jared Rivera. I feel those names are referencing people. Rivera sounds very familiar in my mind. Oh, well, I'm sure somebody will find that out. What? What happened? I'll spare you all her insults, okay? The key thing is, it seems like their HR knows all the confidential information about my journalistic investigation and used it to shut everyone's mouth. Hell, apparently Montgomery walked up to Lopez as she was emptying her desk and told her to thank me for being a, quote, dumb and careless cunt. Brian goes pale. I think it's a very good reason to. You fucking scumbag, you outed my sources. What? What? Of course not. What are you even saying? Oh, don't you play coy. It must have been either you or me or no one else, and you know the way I work. My investigation is basically untraceable, both on and offline. Carefully picked meeting spots, encryption upon encryption, every direct quote rewritten 5 times, just in case. All sorts of red herrings scattered around. I know my shit. You know I do. Now that's going to be interesting when she becomes a Lasombra, because in V5 lore, they have this very weird weakness that they can't really interact with technology all that well. And they just, well, and they've always appeared really fuzzy and fucked up on, like, security cameras and things. And, like, you know, just cameras in general. So I'm curious that if she's as technical as she's making herself out to be, providing that she's not referring to other sources that do it for her. I'm curious if this relationship's going to be explored, but then again, I don't know. It's just so much to cover and explore. And this timing. Did you just pass the flash drive to your beloved Big Kahanas during a meeting as a sign of goodwill? Neither can I, because I don't know how much of a time jump between this bit here before the embrace and when Coterie starts proper. Sorry, Shadows of New York starts proper. Look, I get you're upset, but why don't we just talk through this calmly? Okay, all three of those have got varieties of fuck off or you in them, so which one? 1, 2 or 3? One. Alright, sorry for... No. Fuck you. Fury takes the wheel, and I'm just here along for the ride. I can't do anything about it. In a deranged way, realising you're just a passenger in your own body feels liberating. Let's just see where it all unfolds. Calmly. Fuck you, Brian. Julia. I've been paranoid for months and months, acting like everyone I don't know was an assassin or a corporate spy. I know I haven't messed up, not in a way that would implicate all of them. You goddamn... You thought you could get away with this? I haven't done anything improper. Don't push the blame on me. So what, you're claiming it's my fault, because you've never the guilty one. It's always the bosses, the economy, the obligations you have, and now me. You're being silly. Quit this martyr bullshit. Calm down or I'll have to... You immoral shithead, you motherfucking... Calm down for God's sake. And so it goes. I yell out a lot of words and I wanted to say for a long time, but held back. I fling a lot of insults I've been workshopping for years, hoping I'd never use them. I break a few things. At times, for a split second, I see pity in somebody's eyes. It's going to haunt me for a long time, but in the heat of the moment, I don't care. These people... No. This company has nothing left to offer me, so at least make me take this catharsis. In the end, a security guard has to escort me out of the building, and that's the end of my journalistic career. Ooh, nice train ride. I just feel like my world has crumbled into nothing. I mean, you have every right to. Like, Jesus, if I were you, I would have already broken into a sobbing mess. Yeah. Who's Dakota? I love to, but I'm on a subway, far too proud to cry in public even now and... Oh, it's on the phone. And? It's stupid, but I feel like someone's out there keeps destroying everything I hold dear, just to see my reaction. Like it was a prank show and someone was waiting to record me crying. This is the work of her sire, isn't it? She's trying... Because how the Lasombra embrace, they will completely cut you off from your your humanity from your human side of things. They will destroy everything around you, so you have no reason to go back for them, whether it's to destroy your professional career like this, or in more horrible circumstances, they will just kill your loved ones. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens as well. Yeah, this is definitely the work of the sire. Anyway, Dakota is prime shipping material. Ooh. Okay. It's oh, we've just read that bit. So out of sheer spite, I'm doing my best not to cry. Fuck you, whoever and wherever you are. That's the most Julia Sowinski thing I've heard. Spite is the greatest motivator, huh? Not feeling particularly motivated to do anything right now, to be honest. I just want to stay in my bed until my head landlord calls the cops to forcefully evict me. Not surprised. Shit. I know whenever life decides to fuck you over, it's always one thing after another, but this is... it's too much. How much is too much? Let's recap this last week of June 2019. I cannot remember when Coteries of New York is set, but it's about this time, I think. I've been kicked out of my job. Well, Not that I've ever been hired. So let's say, just say my mentor broke every vague promise he has ever made to me. A big thing I'd been working on for a year and a half went down the toilet. It's all useless. My boss didn't protect my sources properly, and now they keep trying to reach me through every possible channel to threaten me or just to yell at me, and they have every right to react like that. All of my side gigs are shut down, nobody's replying to my emails. Someone's been dragging my name through the mud behind the scenes, and it worked. Yeah, this is the sire. I still have no idea who's sending these shitty messages around. I've been asking, but as much as I love introductions, I'm not sure the character introductions need to be this long. I can see why you think that. It might feel a little longer because I'm reading it aloud and I'm breaking down the introductions as much. I don't think the whole thing would have lasted 45 minutes, for me personally, because I'm very quick at reading. So that could be contributing to that as well, just keep that in mind. Hell yes, girl, spy is a fantastic motivator. Yep. Listen, don't worry about it. I'm not going to stand idly by and watch you get cancelled by any mean-spirited delusional. I said don't worry about it. Thanks for showing the game, have fun, I need to go. Alright, William. Take care, thanks for dropping by. I have 3 unread messages from my landlord. The message previews were stressful enough. A call from Chicago. Apparently Dad has bladder cancer. Shit. Mum is in hysterics. She'd be crazy if she heard about my situation, so I have to pretend everything is okay whenever she calls. I agree, Holly. She calls every day. She just won't hang up or she offloads all of her burdens on me. Yep, I know that well. I can't blame her because we've all had to learn to cope with Dad's psychopathic tendencies somehow. Oh shit. I was robbed. All my documents and what little money I had gone. Don't even know when or where it happened, and it's just driving me crazy because I'm always extremely wary of pickpockets. She's going to be a nice Lasombra. Yep, super fucking angry bitch, this one. The list goes on. I don't want to sound paranoid, but it really feels like a concerted attack. Paranoid is good. Anyway, I know you've always hand-waved this topic away, but just remember that if anything happens, my place is your place. You don't have to get through it alone. I do. I've been a trouble magnet, and as self-centered as I may be, I don't want it to affect you. I know. Listen, I have another call. Alright, just call me if anything happens, no matter how dumb it seems, okay? And swing by whenever you can. Julia's going through the Lasombra quick start boot camp. Yep. yep. Just getting all that tragic angst out all the way. I'm just having to readjust myself because my dogs have moved about and I get to have my sofa back. To myself. Huzzah! Okay. I put my phone away, exhale and blankly stare in front of me. Christ. I glanced at my reflection in the window. That's probably going to be the last time you can do that. Just look at this idiot. Whenever a situation requires me to dress formally, I feel like a child cosplaying as an adult. Yep, I think we all feel like that, sometimes. Should have just followed the dresses for the job you want advice and continued dressing up like a trust fund kid who keeps partying on Brooklyn rooftops for years without care in the world. It's only after a while that I realise the car is empty. Unnaturally so. I start to feel uneasy, but someone enters my peripheral vision. Ooh! Creepy. I like the eyes. Is this gonna be blood, mummy? And that's the last thing I consciously register. The world dissolves. When I come to, I'm out of the subway, standing in a back alley I don't recognise. She starts using that power that gives you +2 intimidation dice. It's pretty dark. My eyes start adjusting, trying to figure out what happened. There's a gun in my hand. A faint silhouette at my feet. It's not moving. This is supposed to be really tense, and just Holly with a little short snores is not helping. Darth Joel, hello there. Thank you for joining. You've just termed a very dramatic, appropriate moment. We've just been embraced. Somebody stands in front of me, covered in shadows. I can't fully make out a face, but she's staring at me with visible intent. She speaks. Her voice is raspy and androgynous. Her tone hateful and mocking. Aren't you a nasty one? What? What's going on here? Who are you? Don't play coy. My mind goes blank. I look at the ground. There's a body riddled with bullet holes, and I recognize who it is. Was. The corpse belongs to Mike Antonoff, one of the double spiral whistleblowers. My source. He was just threatening to get back at me a few hours ago. Before I could feel even the thinnest bit of compassion, I faced a terrible realization. They will think I'm guilty. Oh my god, am I guilty? How is this real? 1, 2, or 3. Sadly, I'm bored. Work bored. Gigantic building with about 15 people in it. I'm stuck in a small mail room. Oh, I'm sorry. Hope this provides a bit of entertainment. So, chat, which option we're going to choose? 1, 2, and 3. And Holly, stop licking the sofa, you freak. 2. Listen, what happened to this guy? This guy? Again, don't play coy. The Lasombra trial. You knew him. He was mad at you. You started telling him sob stories about your situation. He wasn't having none of it. You got mad. Things escalated. He died. This isn't true. It's plausible, but it doesn't make it true. Or does it? Let the dolls pile up on the couch. We need more dog snort. The dog who snorts and snores a lot is here. It's just Holly was just licking the sofa. It's just, I don't know, weird flex, but alright. This is just a nightmare. It doesn't even make sense. It must be a dream. The only way this could be better if the puppy cam was on Holly. I know, I need to get a webcam and just point at the dogs. It's on my bucket list. And the other pup. Well, Emma's on the other sofa sleeping at the moment. She's 8. And Holly, we don't know how old she is. She's a rescue dog. She's no older than 3. I reckon she's about 2. Okay. And if it isn't, the person in front of me must be responsible. There's a faint voice in my head screaming that it's her world, that I'm just living in it. You're not wrong. What the fuck have you done to me? Nothing yet. But I'll do what I can to get you locked up for life. This is a murder in the first degree with special circumstances. Her detached voice and nonsensical tone only reassures me that this can't be real. I refuse to believe it is. Yeah, it probably would be. It's something that I'd probably do for Twitch, where it doesn't matter too much because I just play games that I've already done. But for something like this, I think it would be too much. But before I even manage to think this through, I point the gun at her. If I did murder him, you wouldn't be acting like that. You wouldn't be standing in front of me. You'd be running away, calling the police, begging for help, yelling that I'm a psycho. You have cats. I have 1 left. I used to have 4. 1 died a couple of years ago, 1 died earlier this year, and 1 died a couple of Sundays ago. Well, actually, we put those 3 down because they were getting ill. Lucy, who's about 17, 18 now, she's just sunbathing in the garden. Oh, you are a psycho, but I'm not a coward. I won't let you walk out of here alive. This doesn't make a single lick of sense. Tears well up in my eyes. Thanks, Maureen. Much appreciated. Why are you doing this? Because sometimes one has to confront what they're really made of. There's no 2 ways about this. She's got to be nuts. Slowly but surely she starts walking towards me. A new YouTube channel. Live stream 24 hours every day, just walking around, just pointing at the animals. Stop right there or I'll shoot. Go on. It's the only way you can get off the hook, isn't it? The only way you can survive. But you would definitely prove that you're the monster I claim you are. What the fuck is this tone? So controlling, infoentic, patronising. I'm serious. For your own sake, you better be. She keeps getting closer. Maybe I did kill Antonov. Maybe I did deserve to live. Maybe it's less tiring not to live. Maybe I should just let her take care of me. Maybe I'll just wake up. Or maybe this insane reality needs to be rejected as violently as possible. Maybe a world that wants to destroy me deserves to be destroyed. She's right in front of me. It's now or never. Ooh! To shoot or not to shoot? That is the question, chat. Alright, we're gonna pop her cap in her ass. I close my eyes and squeeze the trigger. A loud bang echoes through the alley. I'm afraid to look what I have done. I've been to a shooting range once and felt absolutely horrified by pistols. Such a small thing, but it can easily puncture a hole in the fabric reality is made of. Never knew I'd be able to use it against another human being. The very thought makes me want to puke. You're a right choice after all. I'm so glad. You haven't allowed yourself to break, but you've crossed the line I needed you to cross. There's a silent flame in you. That could be an inferno if left unchecked. I sure hope it will. She's still alive. Her voice is coming from behind me. She puts her hand around my wrist and her cold mouth touches my neck. I can feel my shirt gently, violently torn off. I don't understand, but I'm too dazed to protest. This makes me want to roll Lasombra too. Yes. They're a very good clan, a very interesting clan, lore-wise. There's a lot to them. There's a lot of nuance that I think a lot of people miss. But, yeah, I like the direction here. This was your final test. Congratulations. You have proven yourself worthy. Yes, I do admire this scene, because we all know that Astai will choose somebody, for a specific reason, for a purpose to fulfill. But the Lasombra will choose who they deem to be the best of the best. Like, they will not consider those they deem to be elite. Like, the Lasombra don't consider themselves to be a clan. Like, they are the Lasombra. Like, calling themselves a clan makes them associate with the other vampire clans. Makes it sound like a social club, and they truly believe they are better than the rest. There's a court system that the Lasombra use to settle their problems. Yes, they do. I touch upon that briefly in my episodes regarding the Lasombra, actually. I've forgotten the name of it. I think it's just called the Court of Shadows. I might have just made... No, it's not. I almost had it. Friends of the Night, the Amici Noctis. There we go. The fancy bastards. The Lasombra with the Abyss mysticism is quite interesting, no wonder. The Lasombra has a problem with other Lasombra. They place their case to the court. Yeah. All of which I explore rather well, if I do say myself, in the podcast episode on the Lasombra, which I think we're all going to go and check out once this is done. Okay, so we've been embraced now. Oh, that is so rough and raw and different to everything else. I love the cello that's going on here. It's not as sinister as I thought it would be. It's hopeful, which is a very interesting sound they're going there. Friend of the Night. Anyway, I can feel something sharp sliding into my neck. It's not too painful, just startling. Think. A doctor pushing a needle into your vein without a proper warding. Then it hits me. There it was, I've never played one, really don't... pure bliss. Of course, when vampires bite, they don't feel pain. It's more of an orgasmic experience, unless, of course, you are Giovanni, or in V5 lore, one of the bloodlines within the Hakata sect slash bloodline, where everybody just has the painful bite. The dopamine reactors I've considered completely fried until now suddenly recover and start bombarding me with pleasure I've never known before. I finally let the tears go. They come flooding. They've been waiting for years. It's such a relief. You think Lasombra will ever develop the painful bite? Well, you can always choose it as a flaw, if you want it. I mean, for your character, so there's nothing stopping you from doing that. Or the blunt teeth painful bite flaw. Well, again, you could always choose that for your character if you want. But I was just about to say, Helton, they've got enough going on. Is it raining? I feel like I'm in the middle of a deluge at least. Washing away all of my fears, all of my sorrows, all of my anger, all of my pain, all my ego. I've become one with the world and the woman behind me. She's holding me tight, making me feel like the only important thing in this world. Everything else blurs. I feel something intense towards her, something I've never felt before. Is this love? I hope it is. This is not you, hisses a familiar cynical voice in the back of my head. But it's okay. I never felt particularly fond of me anyway. New York, you're perfect. Oh, please don't change a thing. He who laughs in the shadows always has the last laugh. Hallelujah. Praise be. When everything is cliché, nothing is. Isn't that the ever-distant utopia I've been chasing all along? People on the other trains, I hope you're doing fine. God, shut up. Just enjoy it. You finally understand. She's making love to me. She's giving birth to me. She's burying me. I love that scene. Oh, it's very clear that the writers wanted to let loose on their writing here, so they just made the character a writer so they could get away with this fantastic narration. Oh, it's just... that, to me, is the perfect way of describing being embraced. Because, you know, we've played games of Vampire, and we occasionally do preludes, and we kind of skip over the details a little bit because we just want to be the vampire. But, oh, that was beautifully done. Mwah. Whoever wrote that scene's a fucking genius. You're amazing. This is an absurd setup for the Embrace in the original game, isn't it? Yeah. The Embrace in Coteries, it's just like a thing happens, pretty much. Oh, it's just... brilliant. I've been pretty sure I've been dead for a while. I'm pretty sure that I could stare at my own corpse in her hands from a distance for a moment somehow. And then again, I'm alive again. She lifts her mouth from my neck. No, wait. I taste blood in my mouth. Was I drinking her blood too? Ooh. Oh yeah, of course, because you drain the vampire, you give the vampire your own blood in return. How can I forget that? So I've been so enraptured with that scene. I realised that whatever this was, it's over. And I have to bask in the afterglow while I still can. I almost immediately understand that I'm going to chase this fleeting feeling for the rest of my existence. Finally, she lets out a whisper which concludes the ceremony. No matter what happens next, don't forget, you're always a monster. You are lucky enough to be born into a world of monsters, so don't you ever mourn that fact. Embrace it. We just gained a trophy, shrouded in shadows, and that was a very interesting transition. Very cool. I'll buy this if it comes to Xbox. Maureen, it's out on Xbox now. It came on Xbox yesterday, and PlayStation 4, Steam, and Switch. I downloaded this last night, and that's why I'm playing it today. So yeah, go and get it on Xbox. You can get it now from the... I don't know what the store that they have. I don't have an Xbox. Once again, I find myself in Big Beat Burger, so I'm going to hazard a guess that we've jumped a bit now. Familiar surroundings, faces I recognise. Yes it is. Came out yesterday. Fresh out the oven. Or the morgue, one could say. Faces I recognise. Mood, same as it ever was. Okay, I'm guessing that she hasn't been here for a while. Still, I process it in an entirely different way. It all frustrates me now, or, more precisely, makes me frustrated with myself. It's like I'm clinging to the remnants of a cocoon I've outgrown. Oof. Oh. Oh, that's a different look. Remember what I said at the beginning? Step on me! Alright, sorry, carry on. It's the same with these cigarettes. I don't need them anymore, so why do I keep holding on to them? Fucking hell, it's like I refuse to accept that I'm something better than I used to be. She's got some level ups in the fashion department. Yep. A vampire. 2 months ago, I've met Karen. She embraced me. Oh, for fuck's sake, why is her name Karen? Oh, fucking hell. Why? Team, you're doing so well. Don't make a Lasombra called Karen. I like how the vampires have reflective eyes. Yes, it's a very good way of showing the difference in a game like this. Okay. 2 nights ago, I met Karen. She embraced me. Oh, okay, so she hasn't been embraced all that long. Huh, okay, so she's kind of new to this. By which I mean turned me into a kindred. She calls herself my sire and me her child. Why? Just why? Why, DLC? Why? Okay, let's have a look at the dictionary. We all know these. Super vanilla basic terms. Cool. Same layout as before, but just sexy ass purple. Last night she taught me the basics of survival. Drinking blood, manipulating humans, bending steel, controlling shadows. Of course, that's hinting towards the disciplines. Because in Coteries of New York, we may have chosen our clan, Toreador, Ventrue, or Bruja, or Bruja. We never found out as a player what clan we were, so whilst we had Sophie teaching us the ways, we were having to learn by ourselves and just realising, oh shit, I can make people fuck off as a Ventrue, oh shit, I can make people like me as a Toreador. But the disciplines hinted here for the Lasombra are, with the manipulating humans, potence, bending steel is referring to potence, the added strength, and controlling shadows, as I've mentioned before, oblivion in V5, which was previously referred to as obtenebration in older editions of Vampire. Obtenebration being the manipulation of shadows by commanding the abyss, sort of middle realm between our worlds and outer realms. I'm still under the impression that Julia has some dots and auspex for some reason. Maybe she does. Maybe we can try and work this out somehow. Tonight I'm expected more lessons. Instead she just told me to go out and enjoy myself. It was $12.99 US in the Microsoft Office store. Huh. Well, I don't know for the UK pricing, but of the UK on PlayStation it was 10 English pounds, which is a little bit less actually. At least it's not Karen with a K. Dude! Hello there. Yeah, but it's still Karen. Like, okay. So we've been told out to explore, to have fun with ourselves. And my phone has just tanked in charge, so I'm just going to lean across, pull over my charger cable thing, and just plop it by the dog. Okay. So we've been out to go and enjoy ourselves. What's the catch? I asked. To which he responded, I might kill you if you prove to be a disappointment. Yep, very Lasombra-esque. There are a few rules. I have to uphold the Masquerade. I can't contact anyone I knew as a human. I can't let anyone realise I'm not human anymore. I can't embrace anyone, and so on. Cool, sounds simple enough. Otherwise, I'm free to do whatever I want, but for some reason the first thing I did was come back here. Old habits die hard. Karen is probably watching me from somewhere even. The way I understand it, tomorrow night she is supposed to introduce me to the Camarilla, a local society of vampires. Turns out they are the ones who've been systematically ruining my life lately. All a part of some secret evaluation that I barely passed. Just imagine the reach they have makes me dizzy. Big beat burger time to beat your burger. No. After they destroyed the old me that I barely cared about, Karen rebuilt me anew. On one hand, her test left some scars that would take time to heal. On the other hand, maybe I should just be grateful. I am snapped out of my thoughts by a sudden scream. Some douchebag yelling about his French fries not being salty enough. I think this is my cue to leave. Permanently. Oh. Goodbye, BBB. Hope I never see you again. I'm destined for greater things, you see. Oh, okay. Oh, right, we can just... Alright, I was expecting to book more. Immediately fuck him up if you can. Well, okay. So if we are on the map and we get to choose what we can do. Let's explore these options. The risks of swiping right. This Tinder addict smells like A bit of a loser, B, a wannabe lecturer, C, perfect source for nourishment. Okay, so we can have a feeding opportunity here. I love this music. Much superior to, in my opinion, to the Coteries of New York stuff. Dance macabre. That references to a famous piece of classical music. Time to swing a little more on the devil's dance floor. The club beckons. Retributive justice. The meathead bully and his unfortunate victim. I probably shouldn't interfere, but what better chance could I find to test what I've become? Okay. I love the fact that we're just being... Because in Coteries of New York, you go through this whole process, but, you know, learning, but then again, the whole game was set up to learn Vampire V5. So, which one should we do? Do we A, go and find the Tinder guy and feed, dance on the dance floor, or serve some justice? But remember the thing is that we have to somehow uphold the Masquerade. Dance Macabre is also an art style from time just after the Black Death plague years. Ah, that's very interesting. I did not know that. Okay, so again... Okay, because we're giving options here, I don't know how this is going to work. If we can do all three, I will choose the first one I'll see, the second one I'll see second, and so on and so forth. Okay, 2... Okay, so this is the order now. Thank you, Helton and Grim Reaper. 2, 1, 3. So that's the... If we can do multiple themes, 2, 1, 3. So, let's go dancing, ja. Let's go to the nightclubs. Uns, ja. The club reeks of death, and I love it. I've been here quite a few times, but I've never seen anything this breathtaking. Everyone around me is whacked out of their mind, and as if they keep dancing madly, the spirits dance beside them. I haven't heard somebody use whacked in that context for a while. That's very much a European, British thing. Hold on, I just missed a bit of text there. Oh, I did, sorry. Whacked out of their mind, and as they keep dancing madly, the spirits dance beside them. Spectral silhouettes phase in and out of existence, becoming more visible the more intense the music grows. It looks like a bizarre ritual, a profane mass. Yes, it's the same club. They're probably... Because it's the same game, it's the same game, same engine, same city, they're going to reuse some of these backgrounds, and you know what? I'm totally fine with that. I mean, look at the detail that they've put into this. They didn't have to do any of this. Like... I don't really care for that. It's beautiful art, and if I get to see all of this again, just mwah, I don't care. Just mwah, chef's kiss. I notice it's the voice samples the ghosts react to the strongest. The most suggestive ones cause them to appear distorted, even tormented. Oh shit, they're actually ghosts here. Huh. That is interesting. Dance Macabre is also a great song by Ghost. Aha! Thank you very much, Scotty Nosferatu. That is interesting, because... okay. So with V5, they've smacked two disciplines together under the umbrella term of Oblivion. Necromancy, which is ghost and dead body stuff, and Obtenebration, which is the wielding of the abyss. In Oblivion... Sorry, Wraith the Oblivion 20th Anniversary Edition, I cannot give you the page number, but there is a bit in that book talking about the Maelstroms, like weird-ass cyclone tempest things. The Shroud, which is where the ghosts are found, and the Abyss are suggested that they're smashed together. I think it's suggested anyway. And V5 has gone with the idea that, yes, fuck it, let's make it canon. But I did not think that Oblivion for Lasombra was the same Oblivion that the Hakata used. Well, at least that's what I've heard people say Matthew Dawkins have said, but you know, it's fucking Chinese whispers on the internet. That is interesting. I can see why you guys said 2 now. Ooh. A Lasombra that can see ghosts. That is interesting. My knowledge on Wraith, by the way, is like... Vampire is the one I'm most knowledgeable about, and Wraith a little bit is a bit under that. Like, I know the core basics, like the guilds and things and the economy I'm a little bit familiar with, but not terribly well, so I imagine there are people in the chat who know more than I do, and you can correct me on that. Is if someone was struggling to be born out of harsh towns, and the dead were hoping to be reborn alongside it. They're all uneasy, quivering with the desire for something far beyond their reach, probably the same as when they were alive. Sometimes the living dancers spot their dead counterparts. It's usually the most manic ones who notice something out of the corner of their eye, for only a split second, but they never realise that they've glimpsed. Some apparitions dance to a completely different tune than the rest of us. Only they can hear. Those seem the saddest. Yes, the Shadowlands is a complete macabre reflection of our own. Like, it looks the same, but it just looks more sad and decrepit, and the colours are more muted. Like, it's more decayed and things are falling apart. From my understanding of it, at least. So, yeah, they are probably in their own version of this club, and they've got a probably different piece of music going on. The spectacle is eerie, at times it's unbearably melancholic. Above all, it's beautiful. I keep on moving to the rhythm until I reach a trance-like state, and then something even stranger happens. This is so perfect for spooky Halloween time. It's even rainy out today. Huh. Well, it's bright sunshine here, so unfortunately it's not as atmospheric as I would like it. What time is it? Okay, cool. Got plenty of time. Every now and then, when I brush against someone, a fragmentary vision appears before my eyes. Nihilism is depressing, yes. A car burning on a freeway, an outstretched hand in the depths of the sea, a man jumping out of a skyscraping window. Oh shit. Memories of the past, preventable visions of the future. I have no idea what it means, but I'm strangely eager to find out. Huh. Yes, Helton. Is this what you meant by the fact that she had Auspex, Helton? Because this is some weird-ass vision shit that she's going on here. Oh. Ooh. Hmm. Who is this? Excuse me. And then there are dancers like her, ones that aren't ghosts, humans or vampires, but something else altogether. Is she arisen? The new world is full of mysteries, and I plan to get to the bottom of them all. Yeah, that does sound like she has some Auspex going on as well. But for now, I just want to dance. I'm not even sure if it's Auspex or just poetic writing. It could be, to be honest. Fuck, wrong button. Back at the dictionary. We know what the Camarilla is. I was trying to get to the conversations. Arisen. Usually ghosts, if they're stuck in the shroud, that's it, they're gone. But some who are particularly strong willpowered can break through the shroud into the Skinlands, our own round, and be the Walking Dead. It's essentially what the Kuei-Jin are, the Kindred of the East. Jeanette Ghost. Every now and again, I keep moving to the river, and then something even stranger happens. Every now and again, when I brush against someone, a fragmentary vision appears before my eyes, a car burning. It could be poetic writing, but it just seems like, to me, that implies that she has some sort of auspex or third sight, as it were, going on, because it's not... I can only go with V20 here because this is where I remember seeing it. In V20 at least, and especially V20 Dark Ages, whilst it's not a power for say, the storyteller can, like, if they want to inhibit intrigue or mystery, they can have a character with auspex to roll, I can't remember what the proper rating is, and then depending on the successes they may see a vision or something. Some wraiths have a certain arcanas that enable them to visit the skin, visible in the Skinlands. Yes, which is not what I was in. It could be that, but this is a whole mishmash of genres. I think it's very interesting. Oblivion's like the first level of Oblivion ability. Huh. It could be. You see, the whole Oblivion thing's over my head. I'm either necromancy or tenebration. I haven't really learned what the two are. It could be that we're seeing. Let's find out. Let's find out. Enough chit-chat. Oh, okay, maybe not. Okay, so that was 2. 1. Ooh. This looks familiar. This looks like the above of the... when we did the Toreador playthrough, when we were Caesar, the art exhibition, this is where he came up and he was thinking about killing himself. The way that it works in practice, if we have someone with auspex on the coast, we roll a dice and tell them random stuff we want. Yeah, basically what I was saying. Okay. He lowers his eye awkwardly, thinking how to proceed with his rant. Some dude. I like that, because in Kotus of New York, like people like that would appear and be like, Guy A, Guy B. So it's like... The conversation isn't really smooth, yeah. It's like, I keep throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks, but nothing seems to stick for long, you understand, yeah? Okay, which nonchalant response do we go with? This scene is really amusing. Yeah. We're gonna do the German dude now. Okay, option 1, 2, or 3. 3. I saw Helton's first. Even though 1 was before, I saw 3 first, so sorry about that, Klim. I feel weirdly attracted to this character. What? The some dude here, or Julia, I mean, I'm super into Julia. It's like, really like this lack of context that's killing me about online dating. It's bad enough when a few photos and a single sentence are all you have to rely on when starting a conversation, yeah? But when a cosmic miracle finally happens and she's actually willing to keep replying to you, she's actually down to meeting you up eventually, and you're out here sitting with her. Attacked. Oopsie. I was going to say. I mean, I'm no king, not going to king shame or anything, but... you can do better. And after some 90 minutes, you still don't have that shared context. Just no clue whatsoever. It's just like... Take me out and put a bullet in my head and put me out of my misery. 1, 2, or 3. Julia does not give 2 shits about some dude here. Alright, 1, 2, or 3. 1 it is. I hear you. So it's just one of those dates, and it's like, we've been sitting here for ages, and the only thing she has a prolonged interest is getting as hammered as possible. It's just one drink after another. And the more drunk she is, the more familiar she's getting. It's just little things, you know. Touching my upper arm, and each joke, her arm around my shoulder, her jokingly punching my waist. I'm sorry. This escalation is subtle, but steady. In addition, one recurring topic appears, and that is all cool shit she has and wishes she could have shown me. Oh, it's too bad it's back in her apartment. That's when it hits me, she just wants to fuck, sleep with me. 1, 2, or 3. So I'm just laughing at the middle one because I just imagined you'd have been just so sarcastic with this. 1, 2, or 3. 3 it is. Uh-huh. Yeah, well, eventually we both ran out of ideas for topics, and they could potentially be interesting to the both of us. Just so, like, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure love to see all the crap in your apartment. So we Uber there, and it's an immediately pretty nice apartment, like, nothing too fancy. And I can tell her dad is the kind of asshole that I like to punch in the face if I ever meet him, know what I mean? In this scene I just clicked for about half an hour. Oh shit, does it go on that long? I might drop the accent then. So she guides me to the kitchen and makes me some tea and a rare Indian blend, forgot what it was 5 minutes later. Then she excuses herself to the bathroom and just doesn't come back. 10 minutes later, I run out of tweets to read and become a little concerned. I love it that pretentious people go on Twitter in this. I start looking around. The first thing that catches my eye is the kitchen table. 1, 2, or 3. Got some chilled Unzbeets, yeah. 1, 2, or 3, yeah. Go on. The table is surprisingly large. It just covered a neatly arranged document-like and connected to the dots, investigation board, nasty conspiracy kind of thing. Naturally, I take interest. I've been searching the wikis and not a thing jumping out the visions of deaths. Interesting. It takes about 20 seconds to process what it is. Her entire mental history, sorted chronologically, with all the juicy stuff neatly underlined in colour, and I mean entire. It's it all there. Can we meet the sun yet? A detailed description of her fucked up household situation of the years, anxiety, ADHD, bouts of depression, suspicions of schizophrenia, severe bipolar disorder, some weird psychosexual stuff with her brother. I keep reading and reading to remember what I said about throwing the shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. I'm dead certain that's how her shrieks went about diagnosing her. She finally comes out of the bedroom like an hour after she went in at this point. I've read all the shit on the table 3 times, just not the stuff she's highlighted for my convenience. And I feel like, right now, I understand her better than, like, someone who's read Crime and Punishment understands Rascanolic. There, some Russian dude. Or woman. I'm not happy about that, like, at all, you know what I mean? Uh-huh. She walks in all cheerful. Hi, I missed a dialogue option there, didn't I? Oh well. Hi, I respond with slick, all good. She nods and does the weird finger gun thing, chuckles. I pretend I've been doing work related on my phone the whole time. You just bite his guy already. Yeesh. The small talks, a minute later, she's casually picks up one of the documents on the table and starts doing these super obvious body language cues that are like, oh no, how did this get here? I'm practically dying inside, but I put on my cool face, like I'm not here sort of guy. Reply to my boss, he's like, working 24/7, psycho motherfucker, yeah, ha 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 ha. She slowly collects all the documents, puts them away, and then nonchalantly asks me something about Tame Impala when I'm absolutely crushed by all kinds of trauma I've learned about. The apartment starts feeling like a coffin all of a sudden. She picks up a kitchen knife and starts playing with it in this zoned-out stare. I'm fucking mortified. So what do you think I did? Okay. 1, 2, or 3. What's a tamed impala? I presumed it's a type of animal. 1. You ran away? A thought crossed my mind, but nah, as usual, I took the dumbest course of action and fucking slept with her. That's how the worst 6 months of my life began, and I couldn't even say I didn't see it coming. God, I'm such a slut. He leans back and groans while holding his face behind his palms. I look at his neck. Every vein seems so viable and impossibly alluring. I don't even think I looked at anyone's neck like that. Yep, I can understand why she thought that. There's fatal precognition. The vampire's eyes become black and they remain still while the scary vision of death shares of none kindred they can perceive. It could be a whole host of things, but remember, I don't know how many of these powers are in V5, and they are going with the V5 narrative here. But that being said, they're using spectres. But then again, fucking necromancy doesn't. You don't need Wraith to do the whole ghost thing. So anyway, I realise I feel insanely thirsty. Well, you and me both, Julia. Got to stay hydrated and that. Damn. I know. You sure took a turn years ago when this rant began. It was about a continental philosophy. Let's look at those emojis. Dance party time to get some clothes and absent. What, sorry? Can you say that again? He's pretty drunk, barely able to focus on anything but his current train of thought. Just what I was hoping for. Years ago when this... Never mind, listen. It's stuffy in here. I want to go out and get some fresh air. You haven't touched your drink. I mean, I would if I could. No more alcohol for me. What? No, this one's not mine. I mean, some dude brought it here for me. I just don't want it. He scans the room with a death stare, looking for the guy who did it, not realising his best chance of fighting him is in a mirror. Then he drinks like half of my glass at once while looking around, as if he was hoping to prove his dominance over an unseen enemy. Could we begin? Okay, after you. We're walking across a mostly empty street. He's focused on keeping upright and walking in a straight line. I'm focused on finding a spot where I can drink him up. Oh, you slut. You seem like bad news. Oh yeah? So why didn't you just leave me alone? Determinism, I guess. Well, he did just say he was a slut, so... I roll my eyes, and that's when I notice it. A deep, underlit stairwell. Any other circumstance, this would be a euphemism to get it on, but... Shove that guy in the traffic. No, we're going to feed him. We're going to drain him dry. Well, probably not, actually, but... I look around and realise there's no one around. This is my chance. I immediately yank him downstairs. Ooh. It's almost pitch black and I can still see his face. He doesn't seem shocked. It's more like... awkwardness? Now, listen, it's not that I never wanted to do this sort of thing in public. Quite the opposite. It's just that I need a certain degree of comfort to, perform at optimum levels. Oh shit, she's really just pulled his pants down. Okay. Julia. Oh, shut up. I sink my fangs inside of his neck and whimpers and become silent. Finally, that's what I've been waiting for the past hour. Oh, maybe she didn't. Maybe the alleyway was down, like some stairs or whatever. Fair enough. He relaxes in my arms and I relax with him. It's all the drinks I had to deny myself until now are hitting my head all at once, with no pleasant side effects. I feel radiant. I don't want this moment to end, but it has to. I drop his body to the floor and lick the wound closed, just the way she taught me. His pulse is faint but steady. He reeks of booze. If anyone finds him, there should be no suspicions. It's interesting. You spend like the first 4 hours of Coteries of New York learning this, and still our kindred fucks it up so badly. But then again, that's kind of the idea, because Coteries, as I said, is teaching you about upholding the Masquerade, the Second Inquisition. But yeah, it's good to see that a proper sire-child relationship is going on. Like, because Sophie's like, oh, here's how to hunt, now fuck off, sort of thing, you know. There's a major artery of the inner thigh there. It would be marked. No. Just pay attention to the mouth. As I walk up the stairwell, I insert a finger into my mouth and try to sense my fangs. No dice. It seems they really are retractable. Well, that's handy. When the narrator did the Harbinger of the Skull video, I went onto the wiki, and here was an adaptation of Oblivion. It wouldn't be surprised if World of Darkness becomes more unified. Huh. Oh, Helton! Thank you for dropping by. Hope you have enjoyed the rest of your day. Catch you next time. And on the Lord by Night Discord server, if you haven't been there already. Probably one of the nicest World of Darkness servers in existence. Helton is one of our moderators. The hunger pains are gone and I rub my hands around my body. For I feel comfortable, hopeful, happy. Can't remember the last time I enjoyed life like this. Now, let's keep the party going. Oh yes. I've seen this image a lot, but Jesus Christ, seeing it all move like that. And the cigarette smoke. It's a simple effect that they're doing, but it works so well. I tell you what, going that far... How the fuck does she get up there? Oh, I love that. I watched Times Square from above. It's beautiful. Never thought this place could make me emotional, to be honest. But here I am, feeling deeply moved. Who would have thought? Yeah, it's really nice, and the Times Square, the lights are going on. It's really cool. And some of her hair's blowing around as well. You really feel liberated with Julia here. Like, her life 2 days ago just went down the shitter, and now she just doesn't care for it anymore. Potent. Yeah, that's a fucking huge jump, though, if you think about it. Or then again, it might have been various jumps. It just looks like the professor from Animal House. Getting up here was surprisingly easy, all things considered. Took more than a physical effort. Earlier tonight I started experimenting with this body's limits. Okay, you're right, it's potence and uncanny grip. I realise I can jump over small buildings and climb steep walls with ease now, and my whole perception of space has shifted. Okay, so yeah, she just yeeted herself up there. I planned a scenic route across the rooftops. I did my best to avoid attracting attention, just as I was told. Stayed in the shadows as much as humanly possible. I spotted a drone from afar. For a second I felt uneasy, but I remember what she told me. Machines won't get a clear view of me anymore. Camera footage, photos, it's all glitched out or blurry. I love it that whenever we talk about her being a Lasombra, the cello comes in. Is that going to be a constant theme with this? Like, we hear cello and it means Lasombra shit's going down. Let's see. It's all glitched or blurry. Wouldn't take it for granted if I didn't try to catch my reflection earlier on. I couldn't see my face clearly. Not in the mirror, not even a puddle. My face was like one of Dali's clocks. I don't know what that's referencing, but Oh, Dali's... Is it the painting with like all the melted clocks? I think that's what she's referring to. But I'm not an arty-farty person or particularly intellectual in that regards. Anyway, she told me to keep a low profile regardless. Someone might take note and track you down. She didn't care to elaborate, but it didn't sound encouraging. Suddenly it hits me that I might never be able to see my own face again. I wouldn't even be able to take care of my looks by myself. And what about that long-term psychological effects? Oh good, we're going about this. A knot of anxiety tightens in my stomach. Jesus, this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. What else is going to change? The painter Salvador Dali. Cool, I was right. I'm glad they're addressing this question, because I've seen a few people play Lasombra and they never address this question, and there is very little material addresses this question about Lasombra, like younger Lasombra thinking, oh shit, I'm never going to be able to see myself again, what on earth's that going to do to me? And I imagine with some it really just tips them over the edge, and kind of deranged. I know if I didn't see myself again, I'd find that a bit unnerving. Anyway. Calm down. Wait a second. Excuse me. I slept little last night. It's not that I'm bored or anything. Just joined the Discord, Instagram and Twitter. First channel I ever did that for. Thank you so much, Maureen. Once this is done, I shall go and thank you properly if I haven't done so already. I didn't even do that for Critical Role. I am truly blessed. Suck on that, Critical Role. Thank you so much. I feel truly blessed. I don't even have a face worth looking at, I wouldn't mind. Oh, dirt. Anyway, these past few nights have been the best life of my life. For years I was on a downward spiral. Failing health, no future. A feeling of overwhelming powerlessness. An elder Lasombra... but just have lackeys to help them take care of them. The younger, I'm not so sure about. True. Now every day has been flipped upside down, a total paradigm shift. A bad ending is no longer the only option I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow. I forget how that feels. Where it used to stand at the merely seconds to midnight, the doomsday clock has been effectively turned off. A cold breeze brushes my cheek. As stupid as it sounds, I chose to read it as the world telling me to chin up. I can bend anyone to my will. I am capable of superhuman strength. I am master of shadows. I can do anything. Tomorrow night I'll be introduced to my duties. If anything goes according to plan, I'll become a New York City representative of Clan Lasombra. What does it say about clan? Does it say anything about Lasombra? No. Let's see. A vampire's family tree, specifically those sharing common blood. Imagine everybody who is your blood relative. Everyone you can picture gathered around a table at Christmas, all sharing the same strengths and afflictions. Might be harder to visualize when you come from a big family, but you're still probably only picturing only a few dozen people maximum. There are hundreds of vampires in any given clan, maybe more. I'm just gonna have another drink, my mouth's getting dry. Yes, Julia is of Clan Lasombra. Whoever they are, whatever that means, I have no idea what to expect. But tonight is tonight. I'm free. All my worries from a month ago feel like they belonged to someone else. Finally things are looking up. And we get another trophy. A celebration of power. Ooh. I'm hazarding a guess that March 2020. Oh, okay. So there's a time jump now. Okay, it was June 2019. So we've been in Lasombra for a whole year now. I do love the references to this, just casually thrown in to make great. If not, look it up what passes you by. I was saying something. So there's time gap. We're in the Camarilla now, for sure. We've been around for a while, for a year actually, and we're back in this fucking joint. Yeah, bad time indeed. Back at it again at a big beat burger. Familiar sounds, familiar smells, familiar faces. Oh, there's a contrast in style soon, I like it. Yet again, I'm recalling that night when everything finally seemed to change for the better. Though, wouldn't Lasombra get caught because of their weakness with cameras? Potentially. I mean, I'm sure, well, a whole year's passed, so... yeah, a whole year's passed, so she's obviously doing pretty well for herself. So a year's passed and the whole events of Coteries of New York has happened. Like, Sophie's been... Oh, spoilers. Sophie's been killed. The child's teamed up with Thomas Artorio, presumably. Anyway, we'll get onto that when we get onto it. So a year's passed, it's 2020 now, and shit has hit the fan, and I just skipped that and I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. Yeah, again, I'm recalling that night when everything finally seemed to change for the better. I mean, it's not like I wasn't expecting everything to go back to the old, depressing normal. Even in the thick of it, the rational part of me recognised my state as temporary. But with these highs, there's always a hope it won't end. Or maybe that's an ego death will finally occur. Be satisfied, you stupid fucking bitch. I command you. Here's all the logical evidence for why you should be satisfied. Here's the obvious direction for your life. And here's a detailed explanation of how you should treat the people that care for you. No dice. I was still back into the same old habits. It's like they were encoded deep into my DNA. The aimlessness, the powerlessness, the spiritual exhaustion. These goddamn fast food trips. So she's wanting to break free from her old life, but she just can't. She misses it. The stupid fucking self-loathing now amplified whenever I drink someone's blood. Maybe I should just blame it all on the misfortune of my birth. You do this social climbing until you dissociate, and then you're just untethered, constantly frustrated, bored of dumb desires. You'll never be satisfied. Nope. Except I'm sort of immortal right now, and I need to figure out what to do next. I watched this obscure Asian movie once, Eli Eli Lema Sabachanti, starring, oh Christ, here we go, Tadanobu Asano, one of the coolest guys in the world. He plays like Musibo-like figure, a legendary noise musician. Huh. Interesting visuals got going on. And eclipse. There's this mysterious virus spreading around the world, causing despair and mass suicides. Okay, this is a bit hard-hitting. A rich CEO's granddaughter gets sick and longs to die, so he spends a fortune searching for the cure. Turns out Asano and his friend, played by this violent Osen Gehesha guy, are travelling through Japan, searching the corpse, strewn towns and fields for any unique item that can produce beautiful sounds. As it turns out, the avant-garde walls of noise they create are able to heal the infected. The CEO begs the band to stop offering them all the money they want, but for some reason they refuse. Through a series of flashbacks, concerts and viginettes, a mystery unfolds. I was thinking that. Eventually we realise that Asano's music is not just a remedy, it's also a cause of the virus. Whenever it connects with people, they get this hunger for more extreme, more novel experiences. And eventually they hit a wall. Nothing can satisfy them anymore. They lose their will to live. Not even musicians are spared from this curse. They know the end will come sooner or later. The girl was saved by a mind-blowing concert, but the tragedy is merely postponed, not averted. The last shot of a Jesus-like Asano silently considering his role as saviour and destroyer stayed with me. The form of the film is abrasive, like no narrative coherence, some weird cartoonish creature choices. The Japanese noise soundtrack, the very freeform and hard to understand weave of themes. But at this point, movies like this are all that truly connect. With me. I'm the New York City representative of the Lasombra clan now, also known as the Night Clan. They are masters of shadows who are distorted reflections and make modern tech go haywire in their process. I would like to check the dictionary to see what they say. Fuck's sake. It wasn't the thing I wanted. I keep getting the buttons confused. Clan Lasombra. Oh, there's quite a bit there. Oh, it's actually doing it from her perspective. That's us, the Night Clan. Other kindred called us Magisters, Abyss Mystics, or Turncoats, if they want to drive home the fact that many Lasombra switched sects in recent years. The way Karen told the story, we used to be the brains behind the Sabbat, a pretty nasty group working in opposition to the Camarilla. They've since left for the Middle East for the most part, but a sizable chunk of my clan opted out and changed sides. Traditionally, we were entranced by the Catholic Church back in Europe, but not for mystical reasons. Our paths was for that of coercion and puppetry, so pulling the strings of important religious leaders was just a means to an end. That is very true. Whereas the Ventrue control CEOs, the Lasombra have stereotypically ruled church. That can be dated back to the Middle Ages. The Night Clan is also a borderline Darwinian in their philosophy about embracing new members. I was mentioning this earlier on. That test that we saw through was, Karen making sure that Julia was the elite of the elite, like that she was perfect, detaching her from her mortal life, that she was a representative of the Lasombra line. The shittiest period of my life was fully orchestrated by Karen in order to see if I was a good Lasombra material. Yep, they do not care for losers who just take it lying down. Then there's the dark. Yep, that's basically what I was just saying. I'm still coming to the grips with it, but apparently shadows aren't just absences of lights to us. They're openings into some kind of hell, and we can wield them or even use them to contact the dead. The downside? We share a classic vampire feature, in that we really don't have clear reflections. This also transfers to not playing well with cameras, and, by extension, having issues dealing with technology in general. Okay, so that's official then, because as I was confused about how Oblivion in V5 works, but they can use, in quotes, what was I saying? They can use regular Oblivion in addition to Obtenebration. I mean, I have my own opinions on that, but that's a conversation for another time. That's a very good write-up, actually, a good summary of the clan in V5. They've done their research. I like that. Last year, a few months before I was embraced, the Lasombra had joined with the Camarilla, the biggest and most traditional sect in the vampire world. Sect, for those of you who don't know, it's the in-game term for faction. The two groups actually used to fight each other, the Sabbat and the Camarilla, but our leaders found some intel that made them reconsider their strategy. The leaders of the Camarilla being the Ventrue, the Sabbat, the Lasombra. So they sent a diplomatic mission to parlay... Oh, sorry, her leaders. It's what Helton and I were saying before, the Friends of the Night, the Amici Noctis. They're like the top of the Lasombra clan. And they work for what they believe is the best interest for the Lasombra clan. So when the Sabbat doing the whole beckoning thing, fighting in the Middle East, realizing that the Sabbat's getting all animalistic and doing whatever it is they're doing, because that bit of lore is still up in the air, the Lasombra thought, well, the Sabbat are not worthy of our rule anymore. We must part ways and seek grander prospects, to which they reached out to the Camarilla. So they sent a diplomatic mission to parley with their historical enemies. The deal they got in Chicago was simple. This is referring to the V5 book, of course, Chicago by Night, whereas I'm going to completely butcher your name now. It's... Oh, what's her name? It's... Clara, who... She wrote the story, The Sacrifice, which is how the Lasombra got into the Camarilla, which she's just probably going to explain, she being Julia. The deal they got in Chicago was simple: an unlife for every unlife. For every Lasombra vampire allowed in the Ivory Tower, one Lasombra vampire has to meet their ultimate end. The idea was that in Chicago by Night V5, I believe it is the fact that it was elders that they were after, which makes sense. I still remember the name of the woman who met her final death so I could begin my unlife. Her name was Hester Reed, a sworn enemy of the Camarilla. Oh, okay. So literally whenever a Lasombra is embraced, another one has to disappear. Huh. Interesting. I don't own Chicago by Night V5, so a lot of this new stuff, well, it's new to me as well. Her name was Hester Reed, a sworn enemy of the Camarilla, a guerrilla fighter who spent decades opposing them. She was someone with better principles than mine, from what I gathered. Well, whoever she was, her execution by my sire served to convince the New York City elites giving us Lasombra a chance. Then they set out to look for a mutually agreed upon candidate who become the clan's rep in the city. My sire searched for someone who gave the impression she was more than she appeared. The local court was looking for someone they could walk all over. After long negotiations, they decided I was a good compromise. And what does this game mean by court? The kindred hierarchy of rule. Okay, so it's about sheriffs, primogens and such. Basically the feudalism by another name. You have prince at the top, primogen beneath them, him or her, a sheriff who also answers the prince, and so on. Matters are handled at secret sanctuaries called Elysium. Note this structure applies at the city level. Beyond that, the Camera's organisation gets absurdly Byzantine. Clown music, instrumental, chart, Lasombra, cello, Malkey. They proceeded to systematically destroy my entire life, just to make me show I was psychologically strong enough to join their ranks. It's just as we said, making sure that she was strong enough to handle it. The turncoat special, they called it. Somehow I succeeded. I have to check my phone, because something just buzzed and I feel that was important. No, it wasn't. And it eventually led me back to where I started. I stopped writing and put my pen down. I'm just going to take a quick loo break. I will be back in a second. Just listen to the dog snore, I guess. Dog of evolution! Quick, wake the dog up. Oh, you don't want that because she'll walk all over the patrols. Holly has, as some of you may know, she doesn't have any tear ducts in her. Shit, which eye does it? It's her left eye, so I have to put some eye gel things in. Oh, you're the wrong way round. Okay, I'm going to move the headphones out of the way for the noise. I'm literally going to have to roll the dog over so I don't break her neck. Come on, dog. That's enough space to work with. Sorry, baby. I'll flip you over in a moment. There we go. There's a good girl. There's a good girl. Okay, and as promised, I'll flip you back over. Oh, you big. Where's the box for the gel? Okay. Beauty. Okay. I could never do this streaming thing properly, just too many interruptions. Okay. I stopped writing and put my pen down. Oh, she's still writing. Valerie! Okay. If you haven't played Coteries of New York, this is the Scourge, and it's her job to essentially eliminate Finbloods. That's the Scourge's purpose. She appears in one of the Coteries quest lines, D'Angelo, the Nosferatu. I'll say no more than that because it's one of the stronger parts. Do you want to come up, Emma? Come on. There's a good dog. So anyway, Valerie. Will that be all? Yes, Miss Derville. I hope you enjoy your stay in London. Oh, I will very much doubt I will. Just like every cultured person, I think only good Englishman is a dead Englishman. Okay, fuck you. I liked you until a few moments ago. Fuck you. Okay, which fort? What's Julia thinking? I know which one I'm going to pick. Okay, 1, 2, or 3. Just gotta move that closer so I can see the options better. One. Fucked up serial killer. Oh shit, she's actually saying it. Okay. At least you've headed there to kill some Duskborn you hate so much. Duskborn being a V5 name for the Thin-Blooded, or Thin-Bloods. I'm going to see what did they say about Thin-Bloods? Let's see. Clanless vampires whose blood is so diluted they are difficult to tell apart from humans, minus the irreversible sunlight-branded crescent moon tattoos they must bear in some domains to show their status. Yes, it's you can probably work out the connections to a real-world event that happened. Yeah, that's the status of the Camarilla at the moment. Thin-Bloods have been subject to decades of pogroms, prejudice and discrimination, but despite that, their numbers are currently growing. Their human passing appearance, coupled with their penchant for weird alchemy-style shenanigans, which is Thin-Blood sorcery, Thin-Blood alchemy, gives them the ability to thrive outside kindred society. Bigotry and violence against Thin-Bloods are quite normalised by kindred, to the point where it is not at all uncommon to hear of them being killed or referred to as a threat to the Masquerade. Funnily enough, the New York City Camarilla acknowledges them and even offers them membership, but they're third-class citizens at best, and their representative in the Primogen is considered the butt of jokes at best, and a sap to the force of the other council members at worst. Okay, so, Lawson's alive, because there's an option to have him killed off in a quest line. So, okay, so he's... Right, that's good to know. Where was I? Okay, even though they'll supposedly have it the better days... Hold on, where was I? Oh yeah, even though they supposedly have it better in this city than any other in other Camarilla domains, when they step out of line, consciously or not, the verdict tends to be final death with barely a second thought. Sometimes referred to as weaklings or runoffs, less vitriolic names would include young ones, chameleons, or the Duskborn. I tried to find the Malkavian accordion Discord, or whatever it's called, so someone mentioned an industrial goth band called the Malkavian Project. That's pretty neat. I do love Julia's design so much. It just ticks all the right goth girl kinks for me, I guess. But regardless of that, it's a just great character design. I feel like I remember Lord by Night mentioning something about Malkavian tradition and according by the name, hence why I said Malkavians must be accordions. Yes, there is. There's Malkavians have their own traditions, and they call it... I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's... I don't even remember what it even means, to be honest, but go and check out the Malkavian episode. It's towards the end, I seem to remember. One of the benefits of being a scourge, if there's one thing this world is never in shortage of, it's loathsome runoffs who forfeited their right to live. That will be all. Tell Kadir I said hello, and farewell. So what's her job in this? Because she seems a bit more official now. Safe travels. Don't at the door, hit you on the way out, psycho. Oh well. In the lone Lasombra in this town... Oh, I'm the lone Lasombra in this town, so her sire's fucked off. Okay. And my representational role means jack shit. No title, no perks, no whatever. Right now, I'm the court's gopher, doing all sorts of work nobody else will touch. I guess this is because she's Lasombra and she's having to... what's the word? Earn her right, basically. My main duties? Being a sort of immigration officer. See, New York City is probably the biggest vampire travel hub in the USA, and definitely the biggest one on the East Coast. Almost every kindred arriving from Africa and Europe comes through here. Yay, Daddy Kadir! The local Camarilla is nuts about bureaucracy and population control. Oh, every vampire leaving or arriving in this town is supposed to check with me to inform me about their travels. Okay. So that's kind of what the sheriff is supposed to do, though. I have him too. I hope he shows up again. I believe he will do, if the art I've seen does not deceive. Well, in theory at least. The VIPs play by different rules. They take care of this stuff through connections and servants. But for the fucking hell. But for the smaller fish, like a vampire Statue of Liberty, the first bloodsucker every kindred coming to New York City should see, on paper anyway. The first after the Prince or Qadir, the Primogen Council, these things vary. Yeah, I'm naturally a traitorous Lasombra, so they still prefer being traditional and hands-on about these things. As I said, at the end of the day, I'm just a gopher, and this work only serves to remind me I'm not quite in just standing at the gate. They haven't even given me an office. I just meet everyone in public places, such as coffee shops or this fast food restaurant. Some consider this an insult and lash out at me, but luckily most of them understand we're in the same boat. Only here because we're curs who need to be reminded of our place from time to time. Speaking of, my last client is 15 minutes late, and I still have more errands to run tonight. This is getting irritating. To be honest, I should just find some self-respect and leave. But I won't. My sorry upbringing left me with a stupid sense of responsibility. 10 more minutes pass. Eventually, an unfamiliar woman appears by the door. She tells someone to stand by the door and walks in. Sorry. Very important NPC character in the grand lore of Vampire the Masquerade. Those who have played Vampire the Masquerade Redemption will recognise this woman. Those of you who actually have the Vampire the Masquerade New York City by Night will know this character. And those who have, well, older still, if you have Transylvania by Night, will know this woman is Ekaterina the Wise. The sire to a handful of other people, most notably Christoph Romuald, the protagonist of Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. But most interestingly, Ekaterina the Wise is the Archbishop of New York City, the Archbishop being the head boss woman of the Sabbat. So I am very, very interested. Are those fingernails? No, that she's not. She's holding something like car keys or something. But no, if you look at her thumb, you'll notice her fingers are normal. Anyway, so that's why I gasped, because I did not expect to see... And the reason why I knew it was Ekaterina, because Ekaterina the Wise has a veil around her face, because it's kind of disfigured there. Before she was embraced by the Bruja clan, some really horrible things happened to her, which you can read about in your own time, because I don't think YouTube will like it all that much if I talk about it here. Long chestnut hair, body stuck in her late teens. Yeah, Ekaterina the Wise looks about 16 in age. By the look of it, a fashionable scarf covering most of her face. Elegant clothes, dignified walk. I signal her to sit in front of me, trying my best not to let my impatience show. She obliges. Okay, folks. 1, 2, or 3. Again, I shall choose the first option that I see, regardless of whether it appears first. I saw one on my phone. Took your sweet time, huh? One day it'll be a beautiful day. I will learn how to keep all this bitterness in and stop getting in trouble. Sorry, miss. Sowinski, was it? This is not exactly the kind of place we expected. She's scanning her surroundings like we're at a circus. I hope you won't mind if I make it quick. I'm needed in Elysium. Name? Catherine Wise. Okay, she's going with Catherine. I guess that makes sense, given that a Katerina is kind of dated. Catherine Wise. I have to say, I love that artwork so much. Huh. I swear I've heard that name before. Someone else's description of her crosses my mind. That weird lady who owns the art hole, but is never there. Weird. So it is her. Catherine Wise, the owner of the art hole, de facto headquarters of the New York Camarilla City. Oh, so she's joined the Camarilla as well. For fuck's sakes, Julia, what are you doing calling her weird right off the bat? God knows you already made a fool of yourself in front of VIPs in this city. Recover. I'm sorry, it's just that I still don't know many people there, so I have to go by the descriptions I'm given by members of the Primogen. Well, the description is mostly correct, outside of that one word that slightly perplexes me. Pot calling the kettle black sounds like. Oh, from what I gathered, it's just your interests are rumoured to be not fully aligned with the Camarillas, and it irks some folks up there. I don't know whether a Katerina is just about to say, but as I just said, she's with the Sabbat. She is the Archbishop of New York City. Being a keeper of Elysium is not enough for some, I see. I suspected as much, but what can you do? Oh, so is Julia Oh! Oh, of course, I completely forgot. The honorific title of Keeper of Elysium, that's what Julia is. That's still an important role in the... Well... it's semi-important, I guess, but Julia is Keeper of Elysium. See, she seems chill. Good. Anyway, Catherine Wise. Wow. Yes, want me to spell it? People often have trouble getting it right. Forgive my indiscretion, it's just people of your stature usually don't bother checking in with me. They usually report their arrival to one of the Primogen, and they make all the arrangements. I heard Prince Panhard is busy with the preparations for her big party. I assumed that if I spared her some paperwork, she'd appreciate it as a gesture of goodwill. Besides, I wanted to meet the infamous Lasombra representative out of sheer curiosity. My interest piqued once I heard about her. She looks around knowingly. Unique circumstances. Yes, Prince Helen Panhard had trouble justifying the exorbitant rent my property would need. That's literally pennies for her. And as far as I know, she's been sitting on an empty property since last year. Looks like they've got it out for you. Bad. I instantly ship them. Yeah, Katerina the Wise is an elder, and she would certainly dominate Julia. And I think the empty property that she speaks of is the house at the end of Coteries of New York that's mentioned, but I could be wrong. Nice. That's literally what I assumed, but it's nice to get to confirmation. Well, it's not like my clan has ever been particularly popular in these parts. At least that's what I've heard. Sins of the fathers and so on. Yes, just to make sure, you've never met Hester, but you know of her. Kathy could use dominant on me any time. Oh, I'm going to leave you guys to get all saucy in the chat while I read. I do know I wouldn't be here if not for her. Have you two met? No, I only heard of her once or twice. We had a similar outlooks on many issues, although we tended to come up with completely different solutions. In any case, I think it's meaningful that Hester died so that you could live. They feared her. Now they fear you. And that's why they're keeping you down. If anyone who's not a VRP said this to me, I'd laugh in their face. Mr. Ashmore. I say, that is most naughty. Even it's saucy and not spicy, and we should be okay. I use the two in... I change the two, but often. Spicy, saucy. Potatoes, tomatoes, that sort of thing. Oh, I get what she's doing. She's trying to buy me favours. Best not try to act like I'm easy to please. Stick to business. Time will tell. In the meantime, I'll need you to help me out with my documentation. Of course. So, where are you coming from? Washington, D.C. She says it in the way people in Hollywood movies says it. The way that suggests her Washington is wildly different from the Washington you and I would see. Who is she speaking to? What were you doing there? Take a guess. Government work? Write that down. It ought to amuse Helen a little bit. I might ship Ashmore and Law now. Well, I'm sorry, but I am taken. If you say so. Date and hour of arrival. She takes out a plane ticket and slides it towards me. It's all here. 1 AM, got it. Method of transit, plane. Purpose of visit. Nicely done, Emma, jumping over the dog like that. Meeting with Prince. Ought to work just fine. I guess. Estimated duration of visit. Undefined. Write in 6 months if you really need to. Place of accommodation. Conditions of intended stay. The art hole. Conditions should be adequate. And I like it that the art hole's in this game because it's a place that the cat, your coterie, can visit in Redemption, be it briefly, or at least it's mentioned. It's also mentioned in Bloodlines as well. Oh, that's where it is. That's the club in there as well, I think. Anyway. You tell me. I tend to be happy with Airbnb. Home sweet home? I'm not certain that I ever felt particularly at home here. That makes 2 of us. Curious. Do you have nothing holding you here? The face of a blonde-haired friend appears in my mind's eye, then vanishes. Oh, it's Dakota. Is that the woman that she saw at the nightclub that looked all weird? How long does it take the chat to flirt with Law? 2 hours. Come on, folks. Well, you got a record to beat next time. We could do better. Ooh. There's nothing holding me anywhere. I see. A prolonged silence. She stares into my eyes and I return the stare. She's studying me. It's unnerving, but I do my best not to turn away. Eventually, she smiles. Didn't you say you were short on time? Oh God, yes. Kadir will kill me. I know, Holly, that's dreadful. Can't let Daddy Kadir kill us. I quickly begin to collect my stuff from underneath the table. You can simply inform him that I paid you a visit. He'll understand, and he'll pass it on to everyone who should be in the know. Which option, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Two it is. Sure thing. Good. We'll still see each other soon, I hope. The party tomorrow night? I, wasn't invited. She gives me a pitying look. I understand. Well, if not given the opportunity, we should make our own. I'll be in touch. Now I'm scared. Good night, Miss Vise. I wish you a pleasant stay. Good night. And don't rush these things. You've got a whole life ahead of you, and you're in a position where you can take it easy. Take your time, get a different perspective. I nod and walk out the door. When I lose sight of the restaurant, I sprint toward the subway. I was just going with what we were calling them in coteries. Slow night. Oh my days. Well, shit. I would like the entire chat to make an arouse check, please. Difficulty 9. I wish. You're late again. by the way. I hope you have a good excuse. Qadir al-Samai is the mighty sheriff of New York City is not happy with me. No wonder. I met him in front of an asylum 30 minutes later than the time he had agreed on. His humanity is too low. Oh, it's not for us. It's for us. Well, yeah, well, Catherine fucking Vries decided to arrive fashionably late. A likely story. She's supposed to be out of the city. You think I'm pulling your leg, boss? Feel free to check my report. I pass him all the official papers the way I do every other night. Qadir stares me down for a good few seconds, then his steely gaze softens. You're serious? Vries and McDonald with a mask and elegant clothes, surrounded by the smell of French fries and hamburger patties. That must have been one hell of a sight. Technically, it was BBB, not McDonald's, but yeah. God, I made such a fool of myself. First thing I did, I quoted somebody calling him a weirdo. I wanted to die on the spot. I failed hard. Yeah, you, me, both. Serves you right. You're a walking faux pas. I've been trying to teach you to control your tongue, but you never learn. There's a new gaffe every week with you. Still, there's good news and bad news. The good news is Catherine has a fondness for vampires of humble beginnings. That makes sense, knowing what I know of her. Probably why she decided to see you in your, shall we say, natural habitat. She's one of those rich art scene assholes who seek out working class cred. I did say something about watching your tongue. The bad news is, she is very astute, so she can recognise a moron like you straight away. You never stood a chance at impressing her. Oh, shut up. You still need me for anything here? I'll get on with it straight away. Jesus. Maureen? I wouldn't be standing out here chatting with you if I hadn't taken care of my duties. 30 minutes is all it took to finish preparations for the big party. No demonising. Nope, we do not kink shame in this chat. I'm just saying. Filthy! I'm about to see everyone off. Sorry. Couldn't be helped, I suppose. It's more your loss than mine. I just wanted some company tonight, and you could really use the chance to appear here on official duties so everyone can get to know your face. Heaven knows your fast food job isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to, what do they call it, hustle? You don't need to tell me that, but it's not like being paraded around by a bunch of blue-blooded douchebags. He somehow manages to give me a painful nudge to the back without so much as a hint of visible movement. Oh, demonetizing. Oh, I don't get paid for this. Like, I haven't gone through with the whole AdSense, like, setting up my thing to be paid yet, so fuck it, say what you want, I don't give a shit. And even then, I'm not going to stop swearing and being, who I am. Fuck it. Language, you fool. They're coming out. Just stand here in silence for 5 minutes and focus on not embarrassing yourself any further, will you? Oh yeah, we're still going milkless. Hey, you've missed quite a lot of really cool things here. But don't worry, you can always catch it up on demand, if need be. Got it. The first two silhouettes appear in the doorway of the art hall. An old man in a wheelchair pushed forward by his young servant. Haven't seen either of them here before. Language, you fool! Who is this? He's a vampire because of the eyes. Mr. Payne. The night is still young. I hope you find the rest of it pleasant. Payne, the wheelchair. I've heard about him. Addison Payne, one of the American Camarilla's main connections to the government and Wall Street. Disabled in quite a few ways, needs a servant to communicate. I'd be full of resentment if I was embraced in this condition, but apparently Payne is nothing but grateful for his immortality. Yeah, makes sense. He keeps writing fervent defences of the traditions and Camarilla customs. Which options, folks? 1, 2, or 3? I don't think 2 is the good option. 3. I agree. He wordlessly shakes Kadir's hand, but doesn't even deign to acknowledge me. At least his servant gives me a small bow. I return it. They leave. Kadir turns to the next person leaving. High Regent. Oh, Sturbridge, Alicine, Tremere. Can't wait to see you in your outfit. Spare me, Sheriff. Those fancy dress parties cause me enough suffering without your help. I can only hope you haven't conspired with Helen to embarrass me with this gift. She points to a shrink-wrapped set of clothes she's carrying inside her coat. Kadir smirks briefly. High Regent, by the way, is like... She rules the Tremere in New York City, basically. Or at least... She is one of the ruling de facto people. But yet, I think, being High Regent, she is the one that's in charge of them all. I didn't have to. As you well know, Prince Panhard displays a considerable foresight in the matter of party planning. Yes, if there's one thing she's definitely serious about, it's frivolities. A recognisably mortal quality, especially for a prince. We ought to celebrate it, not oppose it. Yes, she is. Then again, all the characters are hot in this game. Don't worry, Sheriff. I'm a big girl who knows her etiquette. I will play your game, amuse the crowd a little bit, and return to my study as fast as possible. Oh, that's such a Tremere thing to say. Elsine Sturbridge, High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, a hero of the Battle of New York. The biggest warlock in town, warlock being a nickname assigned to the Tremeres. Could be a prince herself if she didn't have her eyes on a bigger prize. The thing is, nobody knows what that prize is. They only know it is something to do with a goal of thaumaturgical research. Whoever tried to find out what it is failed. Violently. Oh, I'm sure you're going to have fun. Miss Sowinski here has just informed me Catherine Wise is back in town. It is safe to assume that she'll join our festivities. You're kidding me. Okay, which one, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Because all of these will piss her off somehow. 2 it is. It's not safe to assume, it's certain. She told me she'll be here tomorrow night. Vise. Excellent. I'd love to catch up with her. The barely concealed venom in her voice clearly suggests that, in fact, she hates to catch up with her. Yes, it looks like tomorrow will be very special, but for now, I bid you adieu. And she's gone. Is there some kind of story between Elsine and Vise that I should be aware of? You could say that. High Regent Sturbridge once attempted to call for a blood hunt on Vise. Ah. Interesting. Wow. Why? I've heard 5 different versions of the story, and all of them seem plausible. Catherine's relationship with the city is odd, to say the least. But hush for now. As I said, that's alluding to the fact that she was in charge of the Sabbat. That she ruled New York for a time until it was liberated by the Camarilla in the 90s. He's obviously trying to kill the conversation, and the appearance of Thomas Arturo gives him the perfect way out. Mr. Arturo. I love it that his character art has not changed. Then again, neither did Elsine's. Anyway. Ah, Al-Samir, keep up the good work, eh? Arturo is the Harpy of the city. Yes, he's the Harpy of the city, by the way. Of course. Thomas Arturo, an architect by trade, he's a herald, a member of Prince Panhard's inner circle. I think they go by the name of... Yeah, it's Harpy. Harpy is the insult name, but herald is the proper title. He's a herald, a member of Prince Panhard's inner circle, an eccentric whose thought seems to be 10 times faster than his words. Yes, he's an interesting fellow. I'm here too. Which option want, folks? 1, 2, or 3? Again, whichever option I see first is 1, because there is an option 31. 1. It's the one that I saw. 1. 1, 1, 1, 1. Good night, Mr. Arturo. Ah, yes. Yes. He disappears into the night. Well, that was brief. Maybe I should stand in their way. That might force them to properly acknowledge my existence. You severely underestimate their dedication to ignoring whelps like you. Whelp? Not much different than the archaic human whelp is what you refer to kid when they're fucking up. Kadir loves to use it to put me down from time to time. I love it that all these dictionary terms are in Julia's way of saying things, rather than in the previous game it was all in third person. And just in case you're serious, I beg of you, don't. I've been meaning to ask you for this for a while now, but never had the opportunity. You really hate Arturo's guts, don't you? He carefully measures his diplomatic response. I have no strong feelings about Thomas Arturo whatsoever. That is a very good way of answering that I do not like him. He has nothing positive to say about him. Yeah, well, considering you're always listing positives about every local Camarilla representative under the moon, you might as well have called him a cunt. Oh, I love her. Oh, I love her. Oh, this is somebody I could be friends with. She reminds me, actually, of a friend of mine. Anyway, funny enough, her favourite clan's Lasombra as well. And she's American. If you're watching this, hi, you know who I'm talking about. Language whelp. And as for Arturo, I will share my opinion about him as soon as I come up with one that sticks for him more than a week. Oh, brilliant. A group of kindred emerges from the art hole, rushing towards the street. One only noble-looking woman stops next to us. She's wearing a hijab, but curiously enough doesn't hide her hair beneath it. Oh, is this Adelaide? Primogen? If you're rude enough to stare, you quickly notice the clothes serves mostly to cover up her horrifying scars. Oh. Samira? I have no idea who you are, but I would hazard a guess that... I'm going to stereotype here. I'm guessing by your attire that you are of the Assamite clan, Banu Hakeem. Assamite. Alright. We'll probably find out in a moment anyway. Oh, Primogen, so she is pretty important. Kadir. Oh, and young Julia. I'm doing my best not to stare because Samira is one of the few NYC Camilla figures who hasn't been an asshole to me yet. Still here. Did the prince acquire the Clan of the Hunt's council in some matter? Clan of the Hunt, yeah, Clan Assamite, the Banu Hakeem. Called Assamites in the past, but that's basically a slur at this point, are a new addition to the Camarilla, only having joined a few years ago. Before that, they were independent from the Cam and the Anarchs, and they were used as assassins for hire. Supposed to be very good at that job too. Nowadays, looks like they're being rebranded themselves as Keepers of the Law. That's not... Which still occasionally gives them the chance to hunt somebody down, but no longer payment in blood, as used to be the tradition, or at least not overtly. Okay, that... I can see why Julia has said that, because she wouldn't be too familiar with the law. The Assamites have always been a clan of judges. Like, when they were incepted by Hakeem, the antediluvian, they were Assamites whose job were to destroy other Canaanites who were misusing their powers and to make sure they were not abusing the mortals. And, well, you can go and listen to my podcast episode about the Assamites, but there was this whole law thing where they were controlled a lot more by the Camarilla. It's a very interesting lore thing. Anyway, so it's not entirely true what she just said about them, but it's not entirely false either. The one member of the clan that I know well, Samira, is pretty cagey about the aspect of the Banu Hakeem, but I've learned from a few other sources that members of the clan have a bit of a drinking problem. Yes, the Assamites' weakness is that they have an addiction to canite blood, to vampire blood. And that was kind of enforced upon them, or rather it was made even stronger and a poisonous weakness by the Tremere when the Camarilla was created during the Convention of Thorns. Once they taste another's kindred, they find it hard to stop. Oh, right, she just said it. The inclusion in the Camarilla seems to be stirred some discontent among the Tremere, as the lawmen also use a form of blood sorcery to boost their abilities and observe different rituals. Some of them clearly religiously motivated, owned in no small part the fact that the clan has been traditionally tied to Islam and the Middle East in general. Yes, the Assamite Banu Hakeem blood sorcery is called Quietus. And they also have another one called Du'on Ki, which is their own weird blood sorcery ritual sort of thing. All the more power to you, Law. Thank you very much. Yes, when I find something that I like, I just absorb it like a sponge. Very interesting, we've got this new character here. Yes, I advised her that no matter how hard she tries, she shouldn't expect me to wear a different costume tomorrow night. She's the Banu Hakeem Primogen, just like the Lasombra. Their clan was independent from the Camarilla until relatively recently. However, they negotiated a bit better deal than we did. They have a Primogen for one. Hailing from the Middle East, the Banu Hakeem are drawn to the practice of justice. The rules must be upheld and every transgression punished. They don't have much say in NYC. So going back a little bit, that's actually a somewhat more truer description of the Banu Hakeem. Anyway, they don't have much say in NYC, but the prince often seeks their judgment. It's just good PR. I trust she was understanding. Those are beautiful clothes. Thank you so much. I'm eager to see the outfit you came up with. And how are you, Julia? Have you seen any lights at the end of the tunnel? Okay, which one, folks? 1, 2, 3. Gotta look at my phone to see if one pops up before the TV screen. There is a slight lag. One moment, that's the delivery. I saw one, so I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, the doorbell didn't go. It was someone knocked on the door, which I barely heard actually. If Emma hadn't barked, I wouldn't have heard it. Okay, so option 1. That was the one I chose because I just saw that before 3. Same old, Samira. Still wandering in the dark, bumping my shin every 2 steps. Sorry to hear that. I trust you're pestering the prince and your superiors to improve your standing. It's a process. Oh, Julia, you won't achieve anything if you don't keep reaching for it. Kadir, weren't you supposed to teach her the ropes? I'm trying to, Primogen, but with this child it's always a process. Oh, I love it. She's like Daddy Kadir's just looking after us. Just letting Holly out. Gonna keep that door open for a little bit. If you hear weird whirring noises, I live next to an airport, so apologies for that. It's a private airport, but, you know, planes and shit. The dog that was barking was Holly. Sorry, Emma. Emma was the one that was barking. Holly doesn't bark when the door goes. I can only wish you good luck, then. Good night, Julia. Good night, Kadir. Good night. Have a safe trip. The art hole has to be almost empty by now. You like her, don't you? Stop with your class clown act, whelp. It only serves to reveal your deep insecurities. Reveals deep insecurities. Oh, those comebacks. Wow, that's harsh. It's factual. Was I as harsh as you claim? She did tell us to call her Samir, but you still keep distancing yourself with that primogen shit. Watch your profanity, and don't project your fantasies onto me. I won't give you a lesson about professional boundaries, but I suspect the way you will eventually learn it will be extremely unpleasant. Ooh. Carter Vanderden. Who the fuck is this? He looks wide as fuck. Am I intriguing something good, folks? Even though I'm constantly pestering Kadir's composure is unshaken, his response comes swift and unfazed. Not at all, Mr. Van. Heading back to your office? You know me, my dear Sheriff. What else would I do? Now that's curious. Even though Carter is a primogen as well, Malkavian to be precise, of course he is, I don't hear Kadir address him as such. Hope to see you tomorrow night. I will absolutely show up, provided I can, but just in case, I already apologise for not making it to the Prince, simply drowning in these work these days. The rhythms, tempos and intonation patterns of his voice are so familiar. Half of it sounds like JFK, the other half of it sounds exactly like Barack Obama. Just like his appearance, it all feels so fake. He's old money, of course, comes from a long line of Dutch merchants who originally settled in New York region, runs a wildly successful law office, rubs elbows with the elites, both kindred and kind varieties alike. Kind being, of course, the in-game term for humans. He seems perfect in every way, and that's why he's so unnerving. He's a child of Malkav and must be blighted for some affliction, but whatever it is, he doesn't let it show. Hard not to wonder what he's hiding. The celebrations are planned to last all week. Surely you'll find the time. I pray I will, my good man. I pray I will. In case you need to reach me, you know where to find me. Have a good one. He doesn't even register my presence before leaving. Sometimes I think they're all still hoping I will simply go away. As Carter drives away in his limousine, Kadir shakes his head. You wanted to hear about which member of New York City's Camarilla I dislike the most? Yes. He shoots me a knowing glance and smirks. Too bad. They're all my dear colleagues and I deeply respect every single one of them. You smooth motherfucker. Sure you do. Wouldn't want to blurt out something like... Wouldn't want to blurt out something that would lock you out of Mr. Van's legal services, would you, you ass kisser? I do expect to find myself in need of a good defence attorney when my broke, incompetent and foul-mouthed assistant finally pushes me over the end. Oh, I'm shipping these two. I love the banter that they have. Rude. Do you still need me here? I still need to swing by St. Patrick's tonight. Don't worry, we're almost done. The Prince is coming out. Oh, good for her. Good for her to come out the closet. Sorry, I'm joking. Crash joke, but there you go. The captain is the last person to leave the ship, huh? And there she is. Helen Panhard, the big kahuna, as someone I once knew called her. The de facto ruler of New York City and self-professed patron of the arts. Kadir, a penny for your thoughts. You should be pleased to hear the High Regent resigned to her fate, my prince. Mr. Van is decidedly not. I suspect he'll be too busy to join the festivities all week through. Maybe an open relationship between Kadir and Julia to leave room for Catherine Wise. Maybe. I imagine Julia could jump between the two quite easily. Excellent. She turns to me. Miss Sowinski, I'm pronouncing that surname different every single time. Where do you suppose to accompany a good sheriff in his duties tonight? There was an unexpected change of plans. Catherine Wise is back in the city. Catherine is here? Now that's a welcome surprise. But what does that have to do with you, Miss Sowinski? Okay, folks, which one? 1, 2, or 3? One it is. She said she didn't want to trouble you with all the paperwork regarding her arrival. Prince Panhard, it's all been taken care of. Kadir's already been informed of everything. That's certainly a nice gesture, but... Wait a minute. Now, where did you meet her? In a fast food restaurant, my prince. I see. Helen rubs her eyes. Catherine and her love for prolatian amusement. I suppose it would be a source of amusing anecdotes this week. If we want to avoid these situations in the future, it might be a good time to discuss offering Miss Sowinski an office of her own. We'll get to it eventually. There are some more pressing matters at hand. The festivities start tomorrow and there's still much to be done. Will you make sure the art hall is secure before leaving? Certainly, my prince. Have a good night. Good night, Kadir. Good night, Miss Sowinski. We'll talk about your work soon. Don't worry. Of course. Good night, Prince Panhard. A chauffeur escorts her to a limo. The sound effects of the vehicles in this are mixed better, I have noticed. It's not so bloody loud. There's an awkward silence between me and Kadir until the car disappears around the corner. More pressing matters, huh? A penny for your thoughts, Sheriff. I'm certain an image of a keeper of Elysium stuck in a fast food restaurant will linger in Prince Panhard's mind. You're far closer to your goal than you were a few minutes ago. I'm pretty sure I've heard you say something to that effect a few times now. And I stand by my words. Rome wasn't built in a day, Julia. As a Camarilla loyalist, don't you think it sucks that the Ivory Tower is so hell-bent on showing disrespect to my clan? They're actually willing to make fools of themselves in the process. Good point, well presented. We've all had to endure our own hazing rituals, but yes, the current situation is not ideal. Whatever. You need to hand closing up the Elysium. I'll manage. It's getting late. Better run. Some shadow in Chicago is probably impatient to get a copy of the reports you've given me. You've pleased one master, now it's time to please the other. Let's see. I think the best Nosferatu is Gary from Bloodlines, but I still might be biased. It's still 24 hours till AM. Yes, I really like Gary from Bloodlines. He's a pretty cool dude. Yeah, here's the thing about working for two masters. Neither of them really thinks to use their own. Not knowing how to reply, Kadir shrugs. I wave to him goodbye and head for the subway. Okay. Folks, and that is where we're going to leave it today. I really enjoy this game. That's a fucking great cathedral. Thank you ever so much to everybody that's come along, watched me talk about and read this game to you. Thank you everybody for your saucy comments, the shipping, and so many comments. I've just seen how many there are. Like, that was amazing. I cannot wait to carry that on. Now, I want to pick this up again tomorrow at the same time, and possibly on Sunday, but I'm not going to make any promises, simply because I live with my family, and I'm not going to force them to do things to accommodate my needs. My family always come first. I had noticed, Maureen. So I'm going to conclude the episode here, for I have to start doing dinner soon. Again, thank you so much. If you haven't done already, check out the Lord by Night Discord server. As I said earlier on, it's one of the most fanfiction on the Discord. I think that's a good idea. Hop on it. The Lord by Night Discord server has lots of news and banter regarding all things Vampire the Masquerade. There's some other tabletop stuff on there as well. There's some conversations about D&D, Cyberpunk. There's some Warhammer stuff. There's all sorts of things, and the memes are just beautifully dank. Just amazing. We've got some other vampire-related people on there as well. We have Outstars there, the Primogens there, Ellie Collins from the Atlantic City by Night, storyteller stuff. We've got a few people from Chicago by Night there as well. They're all lovely people. Of course, but the general populace and you guys are also amazing as well. But yes, check by there. Check out the Lord by Night Discord server. If you've enjoyed my little mannerisms and you want to see the shit that I get up to and find out when the podcast episodes go live, follow me at law_by_night_VTM on Twitter, and on Instagram it is law_by_night_VTM. And if you don't remember that, that's fine, because you can find those details on the Discord server and on previous episodes of the podcast on YouTube. So it is all there just waiting for you just to sink your fangs into, as it were. And on that note, I'm going to save. I'm going to call it quits here. Until next time, farewell.